All right, everybody, welcome back to Call of the Netherdeep. So last time that we were here, which was session 13, last time I think, you guys picked up Carrie's dead body and took it back to your guys' room, where you long rested, and then Naf requested the room to do a blood ritual. So Pell went and tried to spy on some magicians in the casino, and Ono blocked the door with their big heavy shell. And so you started the blood ritual, and you tried to um, to summon a night hag to you, but instead you and Carrie's soul were transported to some cabin-like place, where you saw a mystery figure who you spoke with a little bit. You offered up information on the person you had pledged yourself to, and during that conversation, another being broke through and took you to their um, mini demiplane, where you spoke and realized that you were actually speaking with Ayun, who offered Carrie the ability to come back, but would lose some of your memories, most of your memories, but you would keep your personality, and you would also lose your connection to the stars. And if that was to be agreed upon, then Naf would have to agree to her deal, which was Carrie would come back, you would swear allegiance to them and spread the word of their good works, and then you would purposefully no longer be able to use your blood magic with which to take your own life by the end. Basically, you couldn't use it enough that it would force you to die. Um, you agreed on all of that. Carrie came back, and the two of you, Ono and Pell, heard the two of them inside the room, busted in. You embraced all of each other in a big group hug, and you found yourselves to be wearing friendship bracelets, aka the bonds of Ayun. And then you you got a message from a familiar goblin voice asking when you'd be back to return the item that they sent you to recover, the little elephant that killed Carrie. And Pell said that something happened and everyone's okay, and that they would get it eventually. And you guys completed another night of rest. So Carrie, you no longer have 3 levels of exhaustion. You have 2 levels of exhaustion, and you all kind of spent that evening just kind of emotionally trying to recover from the events of the past, well, 24 hours. So that is where you find yourselves now. It is the next morning, basically. Carrie was dead. You guys long rested. She came back, so you rested that night. And you guys find yourself waking up this morning. Carrie, you find that you never felt like you truly slept. You rested, but you never found yourself into sleep. But you all do awake this morning. You see the sunlight coming in from the window outside. Naf is still looking at all of you as he slept looking at you for the first time. And what does your day have planned for you all?
Well, if we're all good to go. Wait, Carrie, how exhausted are you now still?
Very tired.
Very tired. Okay.
I mean, I don't know if tired is the right word, but not. I'm not good yet. I don't think.
Okay.
We need to check in with the other person who had the other job that we didn't do. I actually don't remember. I'm truly asking.
They were all right, waiting until today, I believe.
Wasn't it time sensitive? I don't remember. It's been a rough couple of days. Day?
Uh,
How long has it been? I don't
It
know.
has been 2 days since
Okay.
you took the quest. They said that they could keep an eye on that person, but if you chose to go work with someone else, they would not be offended and they would find other means by which to get the information they were looking for. So they weren't. It wasn't one of those, "Hey, do this or we'll hate you forever" kind of things, and we'll seek someone else to hunt you down. It was one of those, "Hey, here's this job opportunity that we're offering you. If you wish to do it, here, just please try and do it in the next couple of days. If not, if you don't come back and take it up, then we'll just take it as you're not interested in it." That's all.
Cool. So it's like if we break up, they're not gonna like.
Yeah, they're not
You
gonna
know.
send someone to come and hunt you down and kill you or anything like that. So.
But like
good.
also on the level of like if we're still interested in finding out more information about that, it's only barely too late.
You could maybe make it work. Yeah, you could maybe convince them depending on when you went.
I don't know how much Oh No actually wants to like be productive right now.
That's fair. Well, the
I mean,
people who you have to return the elephant to, the elite at the Allegiance of All Sites, they did tell Pell after he said that something happened and everything's okay now, to go ahead and just take your time. So you can return that pretty much
Were they in
whenever.
the same side of town or not?
They were in the same direction, but they were in two different regions. Here, I will show you where they were. So, um, the first quest was over here in the guided district, over this way, and then the other one was over here in the sigil district.
Right.
Yeah. So, but yeah. So, because you
In the
went to
sigil
this one
district.
first, and then you had to walk back to the other one. So.
Right.
I remember backtracking previously, but not like
Yeah.
why we backtracked.
Yeah, and then you
previously.
backtrack to the bazaar where you guys are now, because you know you had to come back to the bone zone and get the elephant. So.
Okay, well, Carrie is going to kind of pull Ono aside and say, I hope you can do me a favor.
I'd do anything for you.
Oh, that's very sweet. And she gives Ono a little hug. She sort of gestures down at herself because she's still in her just really fucked up clothes. They're like all still bloody, and I wonder, if you could get me some more clothes. I can give you the money, but I cannot go out like this.
Ono is like a little visibly like, oh shit, this is not something that I'm good at, but like she doesn't say anything, but she like it visibly has a reaction of like, oh shit, okay, and she's like looking you up and down, trying to like guess what size you are, and she's kind of like hesitantly nods. I mean, I can probably do that. What
Oh,
were you
well,
looking for?
you seem uh you seem anxious.
I'm I'm not great with clothes.
Oh, well, if you would prefer, I ask one of the Bell or Naf.
I mean, I can try. I might
Well,
ask them for help, but like, I can probably do it. You just need something to wear.
yes, and I thought that something different would be better. I need to I need to cover up more. So some of the I saw people they wearing loose pants, and like the tunic over and like a cloak with a hood or some kind of head wrap would be good.
Oh no takes out a piece of paper, and like on one side of the piece of paper it definitely says like eggs, bread, cheese. And then on the other side she starts writing down cloak, head wrap, clothes question mark.
Carrie just looks at that and says, okay, and she actually, can draw fairly well, so she takes the paper, she says, may I?
Yeah, sure.
And so she just draws like a quick sketch of what she wants, you know, and then looks, how tall is Ono?
Oh, I'm pretty sure I have this written down somewhere. Give me a second.
Yeah. I think we've already established that Carrie's quite a bit taller than Ono.
Where did I write this down? Oh no.
Oh
Description.
no.
She's
Oh,
5 foot,
no.
5 foot
5
and
foot,
450
yes.
pounds.
Okay.
She's not super tall. She's
She's a very stout tortoise.
She's a barrel, and we love her.
she is a barrel. That was the goal in making her.
A very strong barrel. Okay, so just to scale, Carrie draws a little figure of Ono next to the drawing of Carrie. So,
A little scale drawing.
yeah.
Honestly, just a circle.
A circle and a line. There you
Little
go.
legs. I'm totally gonna draw this. No, I'm not, because I can't really draw. But
Please draw a terrible. Oh no, please.
oh, I can draw a terrible Ono with no problem right now.
That's all I want.
Okay, I will do it. I haven't taken any notes yet. It's just gonna be a drawing photo.
Hey, that's fair. So you're gonna help give Ono some direction on the type of clothing, size-wise, that might fit in some description. Okay.
Yeah.
And then, so Ono, you're gonna go shopping. It sounds like. Carrie,
Yeah.
are you just gonna stay back and try and recover some more?
Yeah,
Okay.
because I think that Carrie.
Yeah.
I mean, she is just covered in blood, but she kind of thought for a moment about leaving the room, and then is like, "Nope, no, can't,
There
not
are
gonna do it."
there are facilities here in the casino that you can in the residence part of it where you guys are that you can bathe and get yourself cleansed and whatnot.
Yeah.
So you can get all that off you. So you'll be doing that. Ono will be out shopping. Pell and Naf, what are your guys' plans?
Well, I don't have anything like really pressing to attend to besides the job, but like
You can
I
return it
never-
independent. You don't have to return it as a group. Only one of you really has to go back and return it if you so choose. So if you want that to be your day, you could always head that way, and that way you're kind of accomplishing multiple things at once, or you can go do whatever you want.
Wouldn't want to do it alone if Naf wants to come with me, since he came with me the first time to get the job. I'd be down.
Where is this job? This job is the magic people, right?
Yeah, it's the
Mhm.
second place you
With
went.
an
So the first place that
asshole
yeah,
elf and-
the first place that you guys went was get over here. It was over here in this whole district. And then you guys, for the job that you would need to return to, is in this spot here. Not in this castle spot, but like in this.
a
area.
little far.
So, yeah, I mean you can get there from one to the other. You can get there in a couple of hours. So you guys have made that walk before, so you pretty much know where you're going. So
Naf would be willing to join you for the walk, but he is sick and tired of looking at that elephant and would rather go to the library. So he'd join you for the walk, but then leave the second you got to the building.
Okay, I'm down with that.
all right, cool. So we'll just go in order of people doing stuff. So Carrie, you're staying back getting cleansed, and if there's anything you want to RP or whatever, we can do that after you've got your character on nice and clean and bathed. Oh no, you're making your way through the town, trying to find some stores. Actually, let's go to the poster map. Is there any place in particular on this map that you would like to go to?
For shopping?
Yeah, you can pretty much go wherever you want.
I mean, like we've been in town for a couple of days now, but oh no, like it's like when you go to the mall and you only know the shops that you actually go into, and you're like,
Yeah.
oh, how long has this shop been there? Like,
Yeah.
I didn't know that even existed because it wasn't relevant to me before. So I feel like she would honestly probably just like literally pick a random direction.
Okay.
And then find the first shop that had like either fabric or clothes.
All right. This is actually perfect that you just said pick a random direction because I know where you're going. You are going. I don't know why it won't let me it won't let me open the name up out of this map. Maybe I can get it to go this way. Hold on 1 second. Here we go. Layer. Token layer. This is where you're going, to the Circlet Walk.
Nice.
So here's what we'll do, because now I figured out how to make this map actually work and not destroy itself, which is what it was doing. Alright, so you guys are all staying in the Suncut Bazaar. This whole thing right here, this is the casino where you guys are. This right here is your casino. That's where your like home base is right now. So you, oh no, start kind of walking. And the three of you kind of leave at the same time, and I would imagine you guys just pick one of these roads and you end up going like this way basically. But oh no, you end up down here at the Circlet Walk, while the other two of you kind of go up this way to then go down here, and then Naf will continue on over here. But you get to the Circlet Walk, and as you're kind of walking, you're taking in the sights, the smells, the sounds, kind of street kids playing with street kid stuff, merchants trying to hawk wares at you. You get up to a something kind of catches your eye. You see that there are twin half-elf sisters who are they seem to be brewing some things, and as you kind of approach, you see that you've approached a stall called the Lyrian Linen. And it looks like a cloth dyeing establishment that also sells clothing and different cloths. There's long sheets of fabric hanging off of every rafter and vats of colored liquid arrayed across the front of the shop. You see that these two half-elf twins, they both seem to be wearing like alchemist goggles and having some weird tools around their belt. They are brewing different things that look like they're brewing dyes, but you probably imagine that they can do more than that. But
does the brewing of dyes look vaguely like making weird, colorful soup?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. So she definitely is drawn to the colorful soup, and like is probably a little bit disappointed when she realizes that it's not edible, but has like already gone too deep into walking straight towards them, and now she's like made eye contact, and now she's like, shit, that's not soup. And awkwardly just like looking at things now.
Oh hey, are you here to buy something?
I'm looking for some clothes for my friend.
Well.
And like she holds up the drawing.
Is this supposed to be a drawing of your friend or comparison?
Well,
what is it?
I believe it was the clothes that my friend wanted, and then me for scale.
Is your friend much taller than you?
She's a fair bit taller than me.
Okay, it looks like she's not quite as barrel-like as you, maybe?
No, she's more human shaped than
well,
I am.
Well, we can certainly get something for her. Would you like some decoration for your shell? Some fun fabrics?
Ono's shell is like decorated with like pots and pans, and she's kind of like a little bit she's never actually considered. It's like somebody telling you, like, "Hey, have you ever considered like wearing a hat?" And she's like, "What? Never." As if that's a wild suggestion. Uh, what sort of things do you have? I never really considered.
Well, we have lots of different cloths that we can dye for you. Is Ono wearing a hat like in your picture?
Yeah,
Okay.
totally.
We can get you like a bandolier to go around the waist, to go around your shell. We can make you a little cape. We could even just give you patches if you just want to make like a patchwork shell of different colors if you so choose. Or um, we could give you some dye to change the color of your shell.
Is it possible to do sort of a mixture? I mean, yeah, no. Oh no, in a cape. I definitely just had that vision of just like a ball rolling around with a cape on it. Um,
Yes.
but also like patchwork shell is very
Yes.
much calling to me, and she, I would like to have a combination of some patchwork patches and some colorful shell dyes and a
Oh,
cape. Wait, how much is that gonna cost? I don't have much money.
we can absolutely do that for you, no problem at all. We can, if since we're not doing anything specific, nothing to order, and we're doing like a patchwork, if you're okay with it, we can just give you, we can fashion together some scraps that we would otherwise dispose of, and you can just kind of give us whatever you would like. The dye we may have to charge you a little bit for, but the fabric scraps we're not using them; they're scraps, so we can patch it together, and then it will be a multifaceted array of colors that you can
Oh
wear
no,
however you like.
Olo completely accepts this idea because she understands the concept of leftovers and like never wanting to waste food. And so when they're talking about like we can just give you the scrap, she's like, "Ah yes, don't waste anything, make broth out of it all." Um and she's just sort of like nodding. Um yeah, I definitely want to imagine patchwork shell and a cape. That is what I would like to visualize every time I imagine Ono in the future.
All right. Well, we can certainly get that for you without a problem. And you see that they kind of or she takes a whole bunch of patches of fabric and kind of sews them together. Sews some of them together, leave some of them that are bigger off, and then you make like this weird patchwork-looking cape. And then you have just random pieces of scrap fabric as well that you can kind of. She shows you how to interchange them because it's all kind of secured by like um, oh, what are they called? The freaking pins that you can put on clothes. The clothes, not
Safety
clothespins,
pins?
safety pins. There's the word I can think of. They're basically, you basically have a safety pin together patchwork cloak that you
Love
can
it.
take pieces of the patches out and replace with other patches of fabric that they gave you. And they're not all the same shape or the same size. So it's very much a cobbled together patchwork cloak with extra
Everything
fabrics.
about this description is my favorite thing ever.
Yes. And then for the dyes, we have multiple colors. Is there preferences that you would like? We have um, things like Emberhold Red, Iman Brown, Singorn Yellow. We have Vulcanin Purples. We have whatever color you can. What's your favorite color? Let me ask you this.
Green? Oh
Oh,
no, is like predominantly green.
oh. Do you want the green or do you want the Whitestone green? And she kind of winks.
What's the difference?
Quite a lot, actually.
Um, sure, I'll do the whetstone green.
All right, come with me. And she like very much hurries you into further into the shop and closes the cloth behind you, basically like a cloth door. And she pulls you into the back. And you see her twin sister kind of goes up to the front and pulls another sheet closed so that no one can see what's going on back here. And you see that she pulls out this little case and opens it. And you see there are three colors. There's brown, there's blue, and there's red. And she says, "Well, Whitestone Green. It it gives you access to these. And go ahead and roll me a investigation or an insight check."
one of those I have thing in, I think.
Okay.
Nope, neither. Investigation or insight, but insight is slightly better. Did that not roll? What? No? Okie doke. Why didn't that... I didn't do anything that I do. I think my roller's broken somehow.
You can always do the d20 and roll 20 if you want, and just add whatever that is. Let's see. Oh, there you go. 13 plus whatever.
Plus 2 is 15.
As you look at it, you know this to be sood. Blue, brown, and red sood, aka drugs.
Drugs! What?
Oh,
Oh
shit.
no! An accidental
Oh,
drug!
shit.
Do you sued?
Do you sood? So she kind of points them out and says, "Do you have a preference of color? Is there one that you would like? We'll tell you this: if you buy some sood, we'll just toss it in the clothes free of charge."
Oh no! Was already confused enough at buying clothes, and now she's realizing that she has stepped into something that she is not prepared for. And in order to like not lose face is like, but also like, how do I have any sense of how expensive suit is? Because like, I don't know if I can afford suit. I don't know if Ono knows if she can afford suit. You know.
Yeah. You
But she also
see,
doesn't want to look like an idiot for being like, how much is this?
you see that there's a scale on that table, and there's like different size bags. So you imagine you could buy it in weight, or you could buy it based on amount that you wish to spend, and they could weigh out how much is worth.
And is sued the sort of thing that like people hear about? Like, is it like if somebody walked up and showed marijuana, I'd be like, okay, yeah, I know what a marijuana plant looks like, or is it like
It's
something
more
that
it's more
some
like
obscure thing?
it's more like cocaine, basically.
Okay.
So you probably heard of it, but it's probably not actively just being sold as frequently on the street.
Right. It's like I know that cocaine is a white powder, and that's kind of all the knowledge that I've got. Cool. In order to just not to like accidentally offend these people, Ono's gonna pull out 10 gold and be like, try to like play it cool, like I'll have 10 golds worth.
Oh. Her eyes get real big. Oh, so you want 10 uses of sood. Perfect.
Yeah, that's what I want.
Do you want all of one color, or do you want the split between the colors, or how would you prefer?
I'll split it, I guess.
You have blue, brown, and red. How much would
Are
you
they
like
all
to
the
split?
same price? Like
They are all the same
for-
price, but they all do different things.
Right. Which one's the best one?
It depends what you wish to do. She points to the brown. This one. Actually, let me ask you this: what do you know about sood and its effects? So I don't want to educate you on things you may already know. You can literally say you don't know because your character doesn't know.
Yeah. I feel like Ono doesn't want to. She doesn't want to look like an idiot though. So I feel like she would try to like.
Okay. Well, roll me a
I know
history
what it
check,
does.
and we'll see how much you can say you've heard through the rumors on the street.
My history is +0, so whatever this
16.
is. Oh God.
You know that you have heard that sood can give you modifications to magic. So, but those exact modifications you don't know for sure because different kinds do different things.
Exactly.
But you know that it does modify magic in some way. So as you say, you understand that it modifies magic. She goes, well, yes. The brown, it's doubles the duration per use of any spell that you're casting while you take uses, and you can keep doubling that up to a full day, from what I've heard. I myself have never used that many uses in a row, but you know, you don't use your own product. You don't run a good business that way. Points to the blue.
Oh no, like having had so much of the food she's like eaten in her life is just like shook at that suggestion. Like visibly like you don't try the merchandise? How do you know if it's good?
You just hope that your customers enjoy it and they come back. The blue allows you to, for magic that can typically only affect one creature, if you were to utilize this as you're casting the spell, you can have it affect twice as many creatures, so 2 instead of 1. And the red.
Sorry, I didn't just do a backflip. I was just trying to make it work. I'm sorry.
No, you're good.
I just wanted on the record.
You're good. And this red one, it can increase the range of your spells. Basically, what these are the meta magic options: extended
Yeah.
spell, twin spell, and distant spell. And each use also gives you 1 sorcery point. So if you take 10 uses of this, you have 10 sorcery points for 24 hours, and depending on which one you used, will depend on how many uses of that meta magic that you can use. So if you have 5 brown, 2 blue, and 3 red, you could have all 10 sorcery points, but 5 of them would be for extended, 3 would go to twin, and 2 to
Right.
distant. Like they would be specific for those things, but you could then, yeah, you could only use those things that many times. But
Can I super awkwardly take back one of my gold and say it makes the math easier if I get 3 of each?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. So I take 9 gold away, and you have brown, blue, and red sued, and 9 total sorcery points. Actually, I'll do this. 1 sorc point per use. 24 hours. There you go. But yeah, so and you don't have to use them all at once. You can use them however you
Yeah.
want. And I'll say that because of the way these are sold, even if the meta magic would typically cost more than 1 sorcery point, for using one, it takes the 1 sorcery point you get from using it. So if you're
Right.
using a higher level spell that would normally use 5, it gets to use it for 1. So
That's pretty lit.
yes, so
Oh no, it's coming back with drug presents.
more drugs than you already had drugs. You had mushrooms.
Oh no, it's becoming a druggie, and none of it is on purpose.
You're more kind of a mule.
Mule, you're right.
Also, don't go spreading word of what we're selling here unless it's to someone you trust that would actually make use of them. And if they do come, remember, they must ask for the Whitestone Green. And she...
Whitestone green.
Whitestone Green, when we ask for color. And she looks over and goes, Kavra, do you have the clothes ready? And Kavra pops her head in the back and goes, yeah, Bass, I got 'em. And she pulls back this little satchel of clothes that she had been putting together for you and hands you this tied over present worth of clothes to give to Carrie.
At this store, do they have any super cozy warm socks?
Yes.
I would like to get Carrie a pair of super cozy warm socks.
You get the most brilliant, verdant colored, fuzzy green socks you have ever seen.
That is exactly what I want to get.
Yes.
Actually, can I get fuzzy socks for everybody?
Sure. She'll charge you 1 gold for all those.
I will pay 1 gold for fuzzy socks.
Yes.
For friendship fuzzy socks.
You now have friendship fuzzy socks. You have a bright green, an obnoxiously bright pink, a mustard yellow, and a gray pair of socks. Fuzzy gray old man socks.
I'm writing it down. Bright green, mustard yellow, pink,
and gray.
And gray.
Yep.
Cool.
So you get that, and they kind of usher you out the back rather than out the front, since they don't want you to get caught by the hand of a ward with drugs.
Yeah.
So.
Because I just accidentally had a drug deal.
Yeah. Well, have a good day, and they pull the curtain and shimmy you out.
I got I got my cool outfit and Carrie's stuff and some socks.
And most importantly, drugs.
And drugs.
And accidental
Definitely most important.
drugs.
God damn it! What is with an accidental drugs?
Yes.
This should be a
So
running theme.
here's the actual link for Sood. I don't know if I'm going to I don't think I'm going to do the damage part of all of it because that's just too much for me to remember. But there's the actual whole link for Sood. You can read about Sood drugs if you want.
Cool.
All right. So I assume you're heading back once you have acquired what you were looking for.
Yeah.
All right. Cool. So you head back, and we'll kick over to Pell and Naf. You guys are walking your way to the Sigil District, to the Crystal Chateau, the university in the Sigil District. Anything you wish to talk about on your walk, or are you just kind of walking over in quietness?
I don't have anything like important to talk about. Obviously, like doing small talk, I wouldn't want to just like only quietly just awkward silence walk.
No, you don't like the awkward silence?
You know, I can't say I'm a big fan. I'm good on that part.
All right. Yeah. So you guys make your way, and as you walk past the Crystal Chateau, the university where they work, you see the guards who are out front. They look at you guys and they recognize you. You going in to meet the headmasters to finish whatever they sent you out to do?
Yup.
All right. Well, you head in. I take it, Naf. You continue on your way to the guided district.
Yep, I kind of pat Pell on the shoulder like a good luck, and then go on my way.
Yeah.
All right.
Gonna be fun.
And you know that you guys have already been to a big, huge library, the Library of the Cobalt Soul, so you know how to get there. You walked from there to here before, so you're just backtracking where you went. It's a couple-hour hike, but you can make it there. So, Pell, as you kind of get, you walk in and they lead you into the faction, into the headquarters of where they are. You walk in, and you see that the tall elf is not there, but the goblin, Grease Alcritos, is there. A little small, old-looking goblin with his pince-nez, I think is how you say the glasses that sit on the nose right there.
Yeah.
They're sitting there,
Yeah.
and they kind of look up as the door opens, and you're like, "Oh, hello! I see you've returned."
Yeah, I'm here.
You look a
Is-
little
Is your
emotionally
friend
drained.
here? I'm yeah, you could say something like that.
Oh, you
Is-
were asking about James. No. He's
Yeah.
busy today. He's
Good.
working.
I mean, yeah, I'm not good, but like
No, I understand. He is not the easiest to get along with.
okay. I'm
I've
glad you understand.
I have known James for many years, and he does not change. He is consistent, which is what makes him so reliable, but he takes some time to get used to. He does occasionally crack a joke and smile, but he is not inherently the friendliest person, but he is very smart, and he does have the best interests at heart. So please forgive him his dour attitude towards the world.
I'm just curious, but like, how did you become friends with him?
Oh,
know his child? What happened?
So he actually was an instructor here when I was a student, and I hated his class, and so I kept trying to prank him. And he gave me detention every single day, and I got to respect his power. And he taught me many things. He taught me how to respect magic rather than using it to, shall we say, prank war your schoolmates. And he taught me how to more appropriately use it. So he's been more of a mentor that has moved into the friend role and very trusted advisor over these years.
Okay.
He will outlive us all. He's already 400 something years old, and he's going to live probably 3 times that because he's just, well, I've heard the most spiteful people live the longest, so he'll live forever.
Okay. I mean, maybe I got a bad first impression. Who knows?
No, that's the impression he'll give to everyone, so your impression was probably accurate.
Okay.
So don't
Uh,
feel bad. Anyway,
Right.
were you successful? Did everything? You said something happened during
Yeah.
the
It's,
what happened?
just so okay. This elephant thing. I think. Did we drop it? How did it activate? I feel like we dropped it or something.
Yeah, you stumbled and it fell.
Okay. We accidentally dropped it,
That's not
and
what
as
happened, but
Oh,
is that not what happened?
or did it just go off outside? I can't remember. It's been a minute.
Neff opened the package just to make sure it was the right thing, and his hand brushed on it,
That's
according
right.
to my notes.
There you go. That's what happened. See, this
Okay.
is why people take.
That's all. That's it.
But it was outside.
Yeah.
Because the
So-
bone zone is still standing.
We got this red elephant statue, and we barely touched it, just for like a split second. We barely touched it, and it just turns into this giant elephant in the middle of the city. I don't know if like you've heard about any commotions or anything, but if you did, that was probably that.
Mm.
And long story short, had a little bit of a fight with it, and it kept on going for this one party member, and it just would not let up on her, and eventually took her down, but she's back okay. We're good.
Well, I hope it was nothing too serious. I did hear there was some commotion down in the Suncut Bazaar. The owner of the shop did she did send word that you had picked it up, which is why we messaged you, as we were expecting you to be here sooner than you were. So, you know.
Yeah, we were just making sure she made a full recovery. You know how it goes.
Absolutely. Well, I'm glad that everything turned out well and nobody died and nothing serious happened. Nothing too serious, that is. So, anyway, if you could return it to me, that would be excellent.
Yeah. Take it out of my bag, hand it over to him. I'm pretty sure it's deactivated, at least for a bit. I don't think it's gonna turn into a giant elephant anytime soon, but should probably like contain it or something.
Okay.
In my opinion, I'm not too good with this magic stuff, but
As he takes it from you, kind of looks you up and down a little bit and says, "Are you sure it wasn't that serious?" Um,
listen. In all honesty, I don't know how serious it was. Some stuff happened in the room. We thought she. You know what? No, I I I barely know you. I don't know how much I can really tell you.
I mean, if we're going to work together and if something happened, I want to reward you accordingly, which is why I press. Because I feel like this turned out to be more dangerous than I intended it to be. And if it took more trouble and more danger than what was expected, I wish to pay and reward you in kind, because nobody should work for free, and you deserve what you earn. I mean, if we're going to build a business partnership and relationship, then obviously I want to be able to show you that I mean well and that we can trust each other. Um, so, if you would
Okay.
be more forthright, that would be nice. I do have a limit of what I can give you, as we're not quite super associated yet, but um, the plan was to only give you 50 gold pieces. But if it costs more trouble than what you believe 50 gold pieces to be worth, then I would happily pay you.
I'd say so. I mean, yeah, our friend, she was pretty much dead, right on the verge of it. Wouldn't say she was there just yet, but let's say it took a lot of stuff to get her back up to where she is now.
Okay, so it took a lot of resources. Okay,
Yeah.
I understand. Well, I have I do know that getting people back from the verge of death or death is an expensive venture, and well, life is priceless. But what I can do is, I have two options. As he kind of walks from in front of you with the one of the one elephant that you gave him. You did have two, but this is the original one
Oh,
per se.
yeah.
Yeah. So one of them kind of
Yeah.
broke off, and it's smaller than the one that you have. It's close in size. It's not much smaller. It's like 5% smaller. And that other one seems to look very similar. It doesn't feel the same kind of magical way right now, but this is the original one that transformed and came back. So
Okay.
he takes it. You see that he has just like his regular standard like day-to-day writing gloves and stuff on. And he goes and he puts it on the shelf after, and he kind of looks at it for a second, waves his hand in front of it, and goes, "Yes, yes, it's safe for now." And then goes to a small little safe that's in the corner and unlocks it and says, "Well, I can do two things. We can either I can either give you 800 gold pieces, or you see that," and he points over onto the wall behind you, and you see this very well-made longsword with a slight curve at the end. I can either give you 800 gold pieces, or I can give you 600 gold pieces and that sword.
Ooh.
You look like a
Out
sword
of
user, so-
character. Ooh. Hell's got his best gambling face on right now. Poker face.
How good is that poker face?
Um,
I'm
goes-
willing to roll
Make
to
it
find out.
good. Make it good.
He goes, let me show you what this sword can do. And you see that it's in the sheath on the wall, and he walks over and he unsheaths it and places it on the table. It looks like a regular, still curved sword. It's very, very nicely, like as it's now out of the sheath, you can see that there are runes carved into this. There is different flourishes carved in. It is a very excellently made sword, and he just kind of snaps his fingers, and all the lights in the room go out, and then all of a sudden, after 2 or 3 seconds, you see the sword start to glow, and it kind of fills the room with like this silvery moonlight. And you see as he picks up the sword and holds it and kind of moves it around, you see that the moonlight that emanates from the sword kind of moves with him. And as he moves around the room, it's like the sword itself is now this traveling light of the moon. And he goes and puts it back on the table, snaps his fingers, and the lights reignite. And, if this is something that is of interest to you, it's been here for a while, and we're not, well, sword users, as you can probably tell. But figure might as well see good use. So.
From my limited experience with swords and stuff, can I really tell how much this sword is worth?
It's probably worth about that. Maybe a little bit less.
About 200 gold?
Yeah, it might be worth a little bit less just because it looks a little older, but it definitely is a magical sword that emanates moonlight.
I just got this plain old normal sword. Ooh. That feels
And
like a good
if we
deal.
continue to work together, there will be more jobs of which you will also be paid. So keep that in mind. If you wish to continue to work with us, we wish you to continue to work with us. We will continue to pay you for your work. We expect nothing for free. So.
Unless that sword is worth less than 200 gold, you should take the sword, friend.
Yeah, I think I'm
For sure.
taking this deal.
So 600 gold in the sword?
Yeah, that sounds good to me.
All right. He walks over to the wall and he takes the sheath of the sword off the wall, walks over and resheaths this long sword and hands it to you, and then goes back over to his little safe, grabs a big satchel of coins and gives you a bag of 600 gold pieces and a moon-touched longsword. So, the moon-touched longsword, which I don't know if you have ever actually seen it.
Never.
Here, I will link it to you in the game, and it's just a regular longsword, but it's a magical longsword, so it does magical damage.
Yes.
And whenever you unsheath the blade in the darkness, it sheds moonlight out to 15 feet bright light and 15 feet dim light. So whenever you have this wielded in the dark, you automatically have light.
Wait,
So
that's so cool.
Yep.
Okay.
it's not like a +1 or
Really?
anything, but because it is a magical sword, it does overcome those magical damage resistances. It's just a regular sword for attack and damages, but the damage is magical and it makes light. So it's not a +1 or anything, but it's a magic sword that gives you light.
I mean,
Okay,
realistically, the best part of a +1 is that it does magical damage.
Yeah.
So, you know.
And this does the
Yeah.
magical damage. It's just not bonus damage, and you get some light out of it. And since you don't have dark vision, I don't think anybody in your party has dark vision. You can just walk around with your sword out. And
Oh, this is perfect.
yeah,
God damn.
so now you don't have to decide whether to hold a shield and a sword, or a shield and a torch, or any combination. Now your sword just is your light. So,
But is there a way for it not to do that?
if only in darkness is it completely unshedded. So I would say if you want it to be like
Pull out
less,
like a
that
lighter
you
or
could
something. next
you
to
could
it.
pull it out less of the. So
I'm
if you
just wondering
pull-
about, sneakiness, but
Yeah, I mean you don't
that
have
can be
to.
done.
Yeah, I mean you don't have to have it out if you don't want to. And if you want to make like
Ooh.
less light, I'll say if you pull it out like a quarter of the way, or like if your hand's on your hip with it and you just basically unclip it a little bit, you can make say 10 feet of light come out a little bit.
Nice,
So,
nice.
but yeah, we'll figure out the exact measurements on the less light later if you want. Just depends on the situation. Hell, that may never even come up. But he says, well, okay. We will certainly be in touch. I need to get this to our researchers to make sure that it's safe to store. There is magic, but it seems to have been reset. If that makes sense. I don't. You're not too magical of a person, correct? You don't use
No.
magics.
I mean, I tried getting into it, but I don't know, it just wasn't for me.
That's understandable. It's not for everyone. It's hard, and it's just not fun a lot of times. But it seems that this fully recharges every 7 days, and could be reactivated in the way that you described once a week if utilized in such a way. So I'm going to make sure that we get this protected and sealed away. But we wish you luck, and we will be in touch in the coming days. But otherwise, if there's anything you need, I know that you know how to contact us, as your wizardly friend has that capability.
Yeah.
So I would make sure that you hide that gold away so you're not robbed on the streets.
Smart. But we actually, when we touched that elephant thing, it created like a second smaller version.
Oh.
In all honesty, I don't think we're gonna want it. It's got some bad memories to it. So if you want that too,
Well, if you wish to return it to the owner of the Bone Garden, you are more than welcome to do so. And what we can do is we'll reach out to them, Verosha, and her. You met her crazy parrot, right? He's so fun. He's so fun.
yeah.
But yes, if you return it to her, and tell her this was a duplicate that was created, I can send her a message and we can get her to give you some money for it on our behalf. Again, nothing is free, so if you wish to give it to her, we can give you, say, 50 gold pieces for it. So.
Damn. Yeah. Okay, that's
so
great.
Just return that to her at some point, and let her know, and I'll send her a message so that she is aware, or so that they're aware that you are returning it. And then they'll get that to us, and we'll see if it's of the same magical instance. Don't feel obligated to. You've already fulfilled the terms of our arrangement, so if you wish to keep it, it's yours. But like, as you said, it contains bad memories, and if you don't wish those,
Yeah.
I don't blame you for it. But otherwise, you have yourself a great day. And either we or Prolix, as you know him from before, he's the one who brought you to us. One of us will be in contact with you in the coming days, most likely, for whatever we need next. So we wish to have you join us, but there are a few more steps for that to happen. So we will evaluate everything. In my mind, you have passed with flying colors so far, and we'll reach out to you soon. So.
Sweet.
All right.
Thank you, man.
Absolutely. You know your way back out to the front door, and they can lead you to
Yeah.
wherever you need. All right. Well, As you go to walk out the door, you see you turn over your shoulder at the last second. You see he waves his hand in the door just behind you. He goes and just shuts behind you. So, all right. And then, are you headed back, or are you hanging out in the Sigil District, going to the university bars with all the college kids?
Uh, how far away is the store that we got it at?
It's back here basically where you guys are sleeping. It's in that same plaza.
Oh,
It's like the length of time it took you to walk here. It's the same to get back to where it was.
okay. You say hanging out with the university kids? Is there a
Oh,
university
yeah.
here?
There's straight up a bar here that the university kids go to.
Ooh.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm gonna pass on that right now, but that sounds interesting.
All right.
That might be a thing. Yeah, I'm gonna go back to where we were staying at.
Okay. So you head back. Naf, you make your way. By the time that Palace had all of this conversation, you're maybe not quite halfway to the guided district, but you continue on your way, walking there. People kind of let you be. Everyone's kind of busy doing their own thing. Um, and you eventually make it to the library, um, known as the Temple of the Mentor, or the Mentor. And as you get to the main gate, you see that it's the same, just standard guards that are just kind of guarding every major building. They're not preventing you from going in. It is a large public library during regular business hours. But you do see, as before, there are 3 open eyes framed in cobalt blue crowns on the entrance of the temple. The temple is also the headquarters, also a library. It's a multifunctional place. This library is, like I said, also a temple. It's dedicated to Ayun, that you remember from when you were here before, talking to the Cobalt Soul folks. Um, and as you walk in, you see there are a fair amount of people here today. They all seem to be doing their own thing. You hear some talking in some side rooms, but mainly people are here to research and read and kind of just educate themselves on certain things. You see the leader who you had seen before, um, High Curator Jamil, kind of up top. You see he doesn't notice you, but you see him working on something at his desk, and you just kind of go about your business. And in fact, what is your business?
I would like to try and find a couple books to just read through. Be in a place of Ioun. I imagine they have plenty of books on Ioun, so
Yes,
you
they
know, a
do.
few books on Ioun, maybe some books on prophecy and
Okay.
stuff like that.
Yeah, this place is very, very big, and you've only been here the one time, and it wasn't really for research. So you find one of the library aides, and you kind of ask them, and they point you into a general direction, and say that there are multiple wings and different shelves, all dedicated to Ayun and her teachings and all kinds of things related to it. But in relation to Ayun and prophecy in particular, they kind of direct you through a couple of the hallways down into more of like a quiet area of this library, and they point out a whole section. There's probably about 100 or so books of different thicknesses and sizes and ages, and they kind of say, these will all have likely what it is that you're looking for. If there's something very specific that you want within these tomes, I could likely help you find it um, more quickly. But if you wish to explore it on your own, that is okay as well.
Hmm. I'm going to explore on my own for now.
Absolutely. If you have need of anything else, feel free to find any of us, and we would be more than willing to assist you in whatever manner we can. And he kind of gives you a little nod and goes back to working. He disappears around the corner from where he brought you, and a couple of minutes go by, and you don't really hear anybody walking down here. You're kind of on your own back here for a little while.
I'm just gonna look for the book, grab the books, and begin reading. I mean,
Okay.
yeah, begin learning.
All right. Anything in particular you're trying to learn from these prophecies in Ayun, or just taking in general knowledge?
Taking in general knowledge. but specifically looking for passages or readings and writings of possibly like documented cases of people changing their fate. Like well written, documented, like actual this happened. Like this was gonna happen, but then this person did something that, you know what I mean.
Yeah, yeah. As you're kind of looking through some of these books, you find quite a list of different magical diviners. Those from people as simple as like low-level tarot card readers who have used that in their magical studies to kind of predict their future and try and help others, as well as and up to high-ranking university professors who focused on the school of divination magic to be able to um, focus on foresight and focus on discerning things that others cannot, to see things at a far distance and set up arcane wards and different methods of observing things hundreds and thousands of miles away. But yeah, you find plenty of information on different levels of divination practiced magicians.
Wonderful. That is what I want. I dig deep into that.
Okay. How long do you intend to spend here at the Library of the Galto?
What's closing time?
About dusk. So you probably have a solid 6 or 7 hours that before that would happen.
Like 5 hours. I'd leave at the 5 hour mark.
Okay, cool. So, you head out after 5 hours, and do you? So these books aren't restricted, and they allow you to check books out if you so choose, or they can make copies of information within them if you don't wish to carry full tomes with you. Do you wish to check out the books? Do you wish for them to make copies of some of the things for you, or are you leaving your books behind?
How many am I carrying with me? I assume the book on Ayun, the book on prophecies.
We'll say it's this plus 1, so 3.
Okay. I would like them. I would ask if they could make some copies of the uh, 2 books about prophecy and the changing of fates, and I will check out the book on Ayun.
Okay. So you find the same person who had helped you before, and as you request to have things copied, they go and they get 2 younger, and by younger I mean like 5 or so years younger than this person who looks like they're in their 30s, apprenticed Cobalt Soul wizards, and they pull out some magical looking quills, and they start like machines pumping out copies of these books. You've heard of wizards who are so focused on study and books that they can very quickly copy magical texts and write new scrolls and new texts in a tenth of the time of other wizards. And as you kind of watch them work, you realize that these are 2 young and aspiring wizards of the scribe to work for the Cobalt Soul, and they are pumping out these copies. And in about 30 to 45 minutes, you have everything you want copied into additional free form papers, of which they poke holes in and bind up with some thread for you, and then hand back. Yes, they are the human printing presses. But yes, and then I take it you head back to the Suncut Bazaar where you all are staying?
Yes, I would.
Okay, so you'll end up back there, probably closer to like 9 or 10, just because it's a longer walk from where you are to back to where you stay. So as you're heading back, and all 3 of you are heading back, Carrie, what is your plan for the day? Everyone, at this point, for you, everyone has just left, said they have their things they're going to go and take care of, and you have pretty much the whole day to do whatever it is that you want. What is your plan?
I think, she's definitely gonna go get cleaned up. I mean, they have like a bathhouse or something like that.
Yeah,
right?
they have the facilities with which for you to clean yourself up, for sure.
So think she like makes a toga or something out of a sheet because she doesn't want to just go wandering through any of the public areas or whatever in blood splattered clothes. And I think part of what she's gonna do is just like take the first honest look at herself that she has and get in a bath and have like a little nervous breakdown, to be honest,
It's fair.
because she is like significantly changed and everything feels wrong, and like she has suddenly discovered that she's vain. Like she's never really thought about it before, but she's always been like, oh, I'm floaty and I'm cool and my hair is always blowing back. She doesn't really care about it, but then when she's looking at herself now, she's like horrified. And so it's like back engineering that she's vain. Like, oh God, I do care about how I look and I hate this. So she just has like a little, Um, and then she's going to go back to the room to try to write a letter to her mother.
Okay. Absolutely.
And
you can
that's
do that.
that's about it.
Okay.
She's just, since she's got like nobody around her or anything right now, she's always in that I have to hold it together for everybody else mode.
Mhm.
And nobody's around now. So
Yeah.
she doesn't have to hold it together, so she's not.
That's fair. You spend your day as you described, and writing your letter. Do you wish to send your letter, or are you mainly just writing the letter for catharsis?
Sending anything to her mother is actually really complicated, and I don't think she's up to dealing with that right now. So she's just writing the letter itself, and then she'll cope with figuring out how to get it to her later.
Okay. Absolutely. So you write this letter for your catharsis and to kind of explain everything, but then not feeling like trying to go out into the city and figure out how to send it and do everything you need to do to get it to where it needs to be. You just kind of sit on it for a while.
Yeah.
And you just kind of have some time to yourself, learning about your new form, kind of reflecting on the last 24 hours, how your life has utterly changed once again. You went from being the Aragonasi to a bear, to back to an Aragonasi, and then you died and met your goddess, and
Yeah.
then you were back alive again. And
It's been a lot.
now you are here in this place, alone for the first time in a little while, because I don't think you've actually been alone since you met this crazy group of folks.
No, and that too is weird because she's used to just being only with her mother for the most part, for large portions of time.
Well, you spent some time with that, and Ono, on your way back from accidental drug deals and getting clothes and stuff, what type of book are you looking for?
I'm torn between like wanting to find a storybook and wanting to find like a bestseller. But I'm looking for like like just a novel, like just something entertaining, something fluffy. Yeah, you know what? I'm looking for Dusk Love. You're so right.
Roll me a straight D100. You find. Hold on, let me see something here real quick. I'm gonna roll a D100 as well. You're looking through different stalls as you make your way back. You see some that have books, some that have smaller novellas and whatnot. And looking for Tusk Love, people have heard of it, but it's a bestseller for a reason. And you do, however, find in this like secondhand consignment shop esque looking um, market stall ran by this crotchety, old, decrepit looking human woman who can barely stand up and hold herself together. It looks like skin and bones are just falling off and everywhere, with just a few strands of hair. Looks up at you, and you ask for Tusk Love, and she takes her cane and just pushes like a stack of books over, just off of her counter, not even caring that they're falling to the ground. And you see a not in the best shape, very well read version of Tusk Love.
And then I'm also gonna ask. So I'd like to buy that, and then I'm gonna say, and what's your favorite book? Oh, so do you have any cookbooks? But what's your favorite book? I want that one as well.
Not too many questions, person. I can't see or hear well. There's a book over there on food, and you see it's a book on local herbs. Not really a cookbook, more of like a plant-based book of, hey, these are what grow in Ank'Harel. And then she takes her cane and pushes it to the other side of her counter, pushing more books off. And she goes, that one right there on the ground. And you see that it is Herman's Guide to Selling, a salesperson's handbook in the modern market economy.
I'm going to like pretend that I forgot about that book that was on the floor, but like grab the herb book as if I had only asked one question, and ask how much it is for the herb book and the other book, and then take those and go.
8 silver if you pick up the mess you just made. She points to all the books that she put on the ground.
Oh yeah, no, totally. Unquestioningly, Ono just like grabs them all, starts like carrying them back, carries like as many books as she possibly can at a time, and it's like an obscene number of books, like cartoonish amount of books in most stacks.
You're strong. Do you want to work for me?
I think.
Well, you're fired. Give me the money and leave.
Ono gives the 8 silver, and oh damn it, I need to do math.
If it's easier, take away 1 gold and then just add 2 silver back.
I mean, that's what I'm doing.
Oh, okay. There you go. In D&D Beyond, it doesn't work how it should sometimes.
I know. You'd think such a like great system could figure out how to do the math for you, but it can't.
Not even the math game likes math. But yes, so you get your book on herbs and a really rough looking copy of Tusk Love, and not the Herman's Guide to How to Be a Good Salesperson.
Yeah, no, I'm not gonna grab that one. I mean, it actually probably could be relatively useful for Ono, but she doesn't. It's not what she wants right now.
Yeah.
She didn't even really want her book. She just felt like she had to buy it because she asked for it.
Yeah, that's fair.
I guess I'm gonna put her book in my inventory now.
Yeah, that's fair. Just herb book. Yeah, it's just about herbs. Ank'Harel herbs.
Ank'Harel herb book.
Or if you really want to get Ono confused about it, you can call it Agents of Ank'Harel, because then it sounds like it could be a spy thriller, but it's really like herbal agents.
Well, now I have to rate that.
But yeah, so you acquire your texts and you get back to the Suncut Bazaar and you make it back into your hotel, Lux Run, where your guys' room is, and it's probably mid-afternoon at this point, Carrie, when Ono is the first one to return with all of the stuff that Ono has acquired.
So yeah, I'm gonna go straight to like find Carrie, presumably in our room, unless she went to the bathhouses, and I'd probably be able to figure that out.
Oh, she's back. There's bathing stuff in the upstairs portion of this casino, because like regular casinos, they don't want people to leave if they can avoid it.
Fair enough. So yeah, I'm gonna hold out what I got, and I hope it fits. I tried to do as little talking as possible and just point to the drawing so I didn't mess it up.
Oh, I'm sure you did just fine. Can I see how well she did?
Oh yeah.
Do we need to roll, or did she do all right?
She did all right.
Okay.
The half-elven people they're used to kind of trying to figure stuff out, and based on the very not amazing drawing that you did, good enough that they can figure out like the general height and the general build of you. It's a little loose in some parts, like it's not tailored to fit, but it
Oh, that's
definitely
exactly what she wants.
yeah, it definitely
Yeah.
fits. It's comfortable. It's a little on that looser side, like you would want. So if you're out, like, and it's warmer here too, so the clothing itself is a little lighter as far as like fabric
Yeah,
is.
that's what I was thinking.
Yeah.
Something like more Bedouin kind of.
Yep.
Yeah.
So it
Very swathy.
yep, it fits and it's comfortable and it's clean and it's very nice. So
And then I'm gonna like pull out the socks and the book, and I'm gonna say, sometimes after you have a bad day, you just gotta sit around and be comfy as possible. So, I got these, and something for us to do to just keep our mind off of it. I know that you have some books. I don't know if you've ever read this one. I heard it's fun to read together because it's kind of a little over the top sometimes.
I I have not heard of this one. What is it about?
It's a romance.
Oh, I see.
It's pretty famous. I mean, you should probably just know about it. It's kind of like, I was about to say it's kind of like the 50 Shades of Grey of our world, and then I'm like, that doesn't make any sense in context. But you know,
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like everyone's heard of 50 Shades of Grey,
Right,
even if
right,
they haven't read it.
right. Oh, well, that is very thoughtful. I oh no, I appreciate that. I appreciate uh that you want everyone to be comfortable. It is something very and Carrie's getting very emotional and she's trying not to. It's very it is very endearing.
How obvious is it that Carrie is getting emotional?
I think she's not crying, but she's doing that kind of like looking at Ono and then like not actually wanting to make eye contact sort of thing. So it's just like it's very enduring and I I do not know that we tell you that enough. And I think
Oh
that
no, is
you
also probably looking a little
yeah,
emotional.
I think that you discount the things that you know to do to make people comfortable, and you shouldn't.
I spent an awful long time making people uncomfortable, and I don't want to do that anymore. I mean, I didn't do it on purpose. I mean, but I they didn't really like me very much with the group I was last with. They sort of thought I was just sort of like a fat sort of burden. Wasn't super helpful. Just sort of got in the way, and they liked my food, but I was just sort of angry and hungry, and that's about it. And I'm trying to be better. And
It's
I
did none of them ask you why you are hungry or why you were angry?
uh,
It seems to me like that is the problem of theirs, not yours, if they could not ask.
they I mean, I was just happy to be not completely on my own at that point. Not that I was happy, but you know what I mean. Just the fact that I wasn't completely starving and on my own was a
Why why were you angry? Why are you angry?
I, sometimes I don't know. I just am, but I guess sort of it. I'm angry because I don't know how not to be. I don't know what else to be. That's I've always sort of been somewhere between sad and angry after growing up with a bunch of people who didn't really like me and being abandoned by my parents, and I don't know, just sort of angry that I was alive, I guess.
Who was it that you grew up with? Exactly. It was not this Darrington people, no.
Yeah, it was the Darrington Brigade. So, what was your question?
Uh, is that who you grew up with after your parents?
Oh, I mean, I never knew my parents. I was abandoned at birth, but yeah, somebody who eventually was part of the Darrington Brigade. They raised me for a little bit, and then they sort of left the brigade, but didn't take me with them, and sort of pawned me off on them for a little bit. And various people tried to be supportive, but it's sort of hard to be an adventuring group with a small rolling turtle thing child in the way, but no one wanted to take me home instead, so I just sort of kept being a angry little turtle following around.
Did these people try to tell you that you should not be angry all the time?
Oh, all the time. They were like, why you gotta always be so angry about things? You should be thankful that you're here, and you should be glad that we're giving you a place to stay and a job to do by helping with the cooking and stuff.
Oh no, I am surprised that you are as calm as you are, given that. I think that sometimes that is a logical response. And I have been told many times that I do not feel enough, I do not care enough, and
Okay.
here I people do change, and I feel like traveling with all of you had started to make me more that way. And last night and today, while you were gone, uh, I have been, thinking about everything that has happened, and I feel, well, it is more than I have ever done. And when you tell me about a a a tiny child with no parents being told that they should just be grateful for the situation that they are in and what you described to me, I I'm very angry right now hearing about that, about someone as kind as you should not have to apologize for just being, especially as a child. So why wouldn't that make you angry?
Guess I just feel like if I was the person that they wanted me to be, I wouldn't be angry, and then I don't know, maybe I could be good at something else other than just sort of hitting things and cooking things, I guess. Those are sort of the two things I do.
Well,
Sometimes I do both. Like when you
if
gotta
you
tenderize the meat, you gotta hit it, and then you gotta cook it.
I have seen you do that. Maybe we both can work on being something else. But
Did you want to come back? Did you want to be something different?
Oh. Uh,
Did we sort of like force you to come back? What's it like being dead? Were you actually dead? Dead? Is there like some sort of afterlife?
I. Those are. Those are very complicated questions. Yes, I believe that. Yes, I mean, I need to ask Neff some things. I need to know if he saw some of the things that I saw, but I I was dead. Yes. Yes, I was.
I'm sorry, I shouldn't have brought it up.
No,
Um,
it's
you can't just ask somebody what it was like being dead. Such a caring question to ask.
well, I think I would have done the same if it had been you, so don't. It is a big question, yes?
It's. I think it's one of the biggest questions, really.
Yes.
At this point, you guys hear footsteps in the hallway that you recognize to be that of Pell, but only one set of footsteps.
And actually, Carrie is so grateful because, Ono might have noticed that Carrie was starting to just shake a little bit. So Carrie's like, yes, okay, great. End of conversation. Perfect.
As you
Yay!
just because I put this in here and forgot uh, while you guys were talking, as if you look in your journal, you'll see an excerpt of Tusk Love.
Oh,
No,
yes.
Alex,
What?
you mad lad.
Yes.
Well, that's one of the many excerpts. So
What
Yes.
the?
that's the one you get right now. But yeah, Pell, you arrive back home, and you see Ono has already returned, and her and Carrie are just talking and hanging out. And there's this book in front of Carrie. You can see what it has in it right there. But yeah, you're back, and you have the stuff that you got from turning in the job.
Hold on a second. Is that Tusk Love?
Yes, it is.
Yeah, that's. I don't know. I just sort of thought we needed sort of something fun to do when we all got back today, so I picked it up.
I I didn't know you guys were into that. I mean, like,
Ono says that it can be entertaining to read together.
together. Oh, that's. I didn't think about that before. Do you guys want some like private time or something?
Carrie looks so confused.
What's funny is, Pell, your wife owns Tusk Love, so you know what this book is.
I know what this
You
is.
know what Tusk Love is. She has
This
tried
is
to
their
read it to
date
you
night
a
book.
couple of times, but
I mean,
you
yeah,
know it's enough.
I've heard, read and heard some Tusk Love about myself. I could see it being a good read for two people. I mean, like, I could. You want me to step out or something?
Part 2
I
is in there
can
too.
What?
go down to the first
What did
floor.
we do to deserve this? Like, what blessings have come upon us today?
Belle, I think Ono meant for all of us.
All of us. Okay, that's something.
You guys don't even have to roll insight to know that he is quite uncomfortable with that
Belle
suggestion.
totally like beat red.
Yeah, you can tell that there's something.
Yeah, I I think I might pass on that one, but I mean, you guys go for it.
I well, I mean, it was we have been we have been chatting. So it's fine. We don't need you to leave.
No, in
I
fact,
was
which color of fluffy socks do you want? We're gonna get
Socks.
busy.
Yeah. What colors do we have? What
We
socks?
had green, pink, yellow, and gray.
You know what? I'll take let's take yellow. Yep, yellow. That's good. Anyways, I returned the job. I got a cool sword. I got some money. Can split it up. Anyways, you know what? I'm just gonna leave the room.
You
I'll leave the money here.
you do know that you also have that other statue you can return for 50 more gold to to the
Yeah,
shop
you know,
proper.
I actually there's something I forgot to do, guys. I'll be back in like 30 minutes. Okay?
very,
You guys have fun.
very quickly, Pell runs and grabs the other elephant statue and just dives out the room. Just it's just gone. Pell, you make your way over to the bone garden, and you walk in and you hear the parrot squawky like, "Welcome to the bone garden!" And as you walk up to the counter and turn over the elephant, they nod at you, and the bird or the parrot goes, "Here's your money," and gives you 50 more gold pieces.
Thank you.
Mhm. And the next few hours go by. You guys can kind of hang out, relax, do whatever you please, and then it gets dark, and Naf has yet to return. And then at about 10 or 11 o'clock at night, Naf eventually does make it back from wherever Naf went off to. So, Naf, you have now returned to the building with the rest of your folks. Are all of you staying up and waiting for Naf to return, or are you going to sleep, or what's your evening plans? You got money, you can go gamble more. Lose it all.
well,
I mean, I wouldn't
Jerry
be.
would actually ask Hell for a favor,
Ooh.
and
Yeah.
she says, "I was hoping that you could help me. I I am having trouble walking, and
Okay.
I was hoping that you could that you could help or give me ideas of what I am doing wrong.
Oh.
It was very hard to get to the baths and then back, and I think I don't know why. I don't know what to do, pal.
Okay. That is a little bit of a problem. So, how to walk? You're gonna just put one step forward and slowly put all your weight on that foot, and then you're gonna put another step forward. Okay?
No. How do I put all of my weight on the one foot? So
Oh my lord. Uh,
Go ahead and roll. Let's say, Carrie, you roll an intelligence saving throw followed by an athletics check, and Pell, you can roll athletics check to help her. This is like a parent trying to teach their kid to ride a bike without training wheels.
how do you explain how to walk to someone, man?
Right.
Oh, okay.
So intelligence save followed by athletics
Is
for
a plus
Carrie.
6.
Oh jeez.
Wow, this
So,
wasn't going through.
So a 9 for Pell for athletics.
My rolling isn't working either, so let me just.
I just watch as
You're just like I don't. Well, there you
Hey.
go. So you
So
understand what
if
she's
you
trying
look
to
at
say.
Carrie, maybe this helps. If you look at Carrie, I've been giving this probably way too much thought since the last time we played, but that's, how I roll. Um, because she was an air genasi, I always picture her as almost floating off the ground all the time. So it was like she used the balls of her feet and kind of her toes to just sort of almost just push off and guide. And so the idea of putting the foot all the way down. So I think she's like still trying to do that, and then her center of gravity is all wrong because she's kind of leaning forward because that's how
Maybe
she
get
used
her
to
a
give
pair of
herself
high
momentum.
heels. I think she might actually just walk better in high heels.
Possibly, yes, but that is not,
I mean,
a good solution for
Maybe
all
not
terrain.
adventure
you
appropriate.
can
Yeah,
no,
right.
you can buy combat heels. They're a real thing.
You can. You get me some
Is
Doc
that a thing?
Martens.
They're a real thing.
You
Oh
know
yeah,
real?
how much I want to go get you some Doc Martens right now.
get me some Doc Martens. I haven't had a pair of Doc Martens in a long time. But anyway, so yeah, so you can see that's like the weird thing that she's doing, and it's just like making her tip forward all the time.
You know what? Okay. Are we cool if I use this new magic sword that we got from the rewards?
You're going to teach me with a sword?
Well, just hear me out. Hear me out. I mean, I'll know why I went straight to the sword. There's like plenty of other options, but you can take you can take my old sword and use it as a cane. Like I said, don't know why I went to a sword. You could literally just use a stick, but
Oh no! Like looks at the quarterstaff that she has hanging up. It's like,
listen, a little bit of a small brain moment there, but it's fine.
I mean, actually, if you wanted a walking stick, I don't actually use this quarterstaff much. I mean, it's good for bonking things, but what I have, I use the other things that are kind of better at bonking things, so I don't really need it.
I I see. So like with with the quarterstaff and I think some better like directions from Pell about what she's doing wrong, that significantly improves what's going on.
And with that natural 20, you figure out how to walk. It feels weird because it's almost like you were always waltzing as you were walking before, and now you're not.
I'm
So
just plotting.
so your calves don't feel as sore all the time. But
Hey, she has great calves. Let's
if you're
admit
walking
it.
on your toes, if you're walking on the
Yep.
balls of your feet for literally your whole
Yep.
life, you're gonna have great calves.
Yep.
But yes, so you spend some time learning how to walk better. And Pell, when you arrived back from the store the second time, Ona was in a lounging chair in some fuzzy socks, out loud reading Tusk Love before you grabbed Carrie to assist her.
Okay.
But yeah, so a few more hours go by, and it gets to be about 10 or 11, and then Naf ends up arriving back to.
Can you please have recommenced my reading when Naf comes back?
Oh, if you want to, for sure. Naf, you walk into Ono sitting there, feet up with fuzzy socks on, everyone kind of hanging out, and she's reading this book. I don't know if Pell's still in the room while Ono is reading Tusk
Pell's
Love.
like so gone.
But Ono is definitely reading a smut novel. Not quietly.
So Naf walks back. He's carrying his own books. He opens the door to the room.
I'm tired of running, Oscar. We'll go about. Oh hi.
He stands in the doorway. He closes the door and goes downstairs.
Appropriate.
And Carrie's just like, they seem uncomfortable. I'm not. Am I missing something? Oh no.
I think I don't know. I guess some people like to read their silly books in private rather than I don't know. I always thought it was just sort of silly. I remember reading this book when I was little
Wow. Okay. When you were little.
When she was little, that's all. Perfectly
Oh,
Alright,
normal.
to be fair, turtles reach the adulthood by age 15.
it's true.
Okay,
It's
you
true.
know what? You're right.
So,
I looked it up. I wanted everyone to be safe and sound with that knowledge.
Uh-huh. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah. So, yeah, the night comes to pretty much a close. You see that the workings of the casino start to die down about 1 a.m. The last few people have kind of made their way out, and the owner kind of comes and ushers those of you who might still be downstairs to kind of either take your leave out of the building or go up to your rooms. Basically, you don't have to go home, but you can't stay here, kind of deal. Um, yeah, that's right. I threw the third eye blind reference in there. I ain't got no shame. But yeah, so the night comes to a close, and you guys can all find rest wherever you so choose. You all do have individual rooms here, but you also have the one big room. Where are you guys sleeping for the evening?
I think that if it is possible, Carrie would like to waylay Nath. Like if he's sliding in late at night, maybe Ono has passed out or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
She would like to do her best to waylay Nath.
Okay, you can certainly do that.
Well, I mean, I guess that's kind of up to Nath as well.
That's true.
Yeah. Well, I'm gonna wait for the other two to make their sleeping decisions before I say what I'm gonna say.
Well, Pell left for a minute. He's BRBing
He left the campaign.
temporarily.
No.
God damn it! Oh no, just started to trust him. He can't leave.
Actually, should we just take a quick 10-minute break and then we can?
That works.
That's the plan.
Alright,
Yeah.
Why not?
Let's do that. So
Okie dokie.
we will come back at like 1 after 11.
All right.
All right.
Cool.
And we are back. All right. So we're figuring out what people are doing for sleep. We'll just cause Carrie asked Nath a question. So Ono and Pell, what are your sleep-ins? How you sleeping? What you doing?
Sleeping.
All in one room, different rooms. Where are you sleeping?
Oh, I got you.
Yeah, true.
Ooh. We can afford separate rooms.
Yeah, you bought 4 rooms the other day, but you've slept in the one.
It's
Oh,
true.
I don't know.
Y'all
what
been
is
mooching
everyone
off
else
in
doing?
my room.
I mean, pretty much.
Oh,
Your
what's everyone else
blood-soaked,
doing?
door-battered room.
Yeah, this room's seen the brunt of it all.
Why, it's my room.
But yeah, you guys crashed in together at different rooms tonight.
I want to know what other people are doing.
If
Are we having a
if
sleepover?
people are deciding about sleeping before Nath is back, I think Carrie would kick you guys out.
Maybe I get the fuck out.
She'd be like, "Yeah, I need to talk to Nath, so
Oh snap.
bye."
Before Ono leaves, she would ask you what color socks to leave for Nath. The options are the pink or the gray.
I think probably Carrie's gonna pick the gray for Nath, although she's very tempted to pick the pink for some
Right?
reason.
That's kind of how I feel as well. Like, I feel like blood and pink go together, but also, I feel like the gray is safer, you know? Yeah. So, yeah. Ono will accept the being kicked out, but, like, leave the gray socks for Nath.
All right. You guys get kicked out.
Okay.
So Carrie's gonna do that mom who's been waiting up in the dark in the living room when you try to
Oh,
sneak in the
no.
house.
No.
Oh yeah.
All right. So Naf, you return to your room with
Yeah.
a newly
Yeah.
Carrie
So
there.
yeah, I spend my time downstairs as long as I can reading.
Yeah.
And then when I walk back upstairs, I put my ear to my own door to make sure I don't hear anything sus. Anyone trying to read anything sus.
You do not hear
don't.
anyone breathing.
It's true. You hear nothing.
I think he was
No
worried about
tusk
hearing any
glove
more tusk
action?
glove.
I know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, you don't
but
hear
I'm
you don't
just
hear any
saying.
more Tusklove reading either.
Mm-mm.
You do hear Ono and Nav kind of shuffling in their rooms as they get ready for bed to lay down and stuff, but
Everything in
everyone.
shuffling.
Yeah. Oh, do you stop Naf in the hallway for the socks? Oh no.
I said
I
I
thought you
left
left
them
them behind.
Yeah, I thought I'd left them behind with Carrie, but
Okay, I mean
I-
you can do that too. That's fine.
I guess if I'd known that he was coming to bed like soonish, then I would have said that I kept them with me. But like I wouldn't have known that he was coming back. So yeah,
That's
I guess
fair.
I must have left them with Carrie
All
because
right.
we were in Naf's room.
Yeah. Sounds good. All right. So Naf, you
Maybe
hear.
maybe if I passed him, I'd be like, oh there's something in there for you.
All right. Cool. And you clearly know that she is not actively reading Tusklove in your room. So
Mhm.
there you go. But yeah, so you're you hear no Tusklove from your room, and you open the door, and
Very cautiously open the door and
bam, Carrie's sitting right there.
and
Not right in front of the door.
like
Over in the corner with just like one little candle.
yeah, I was
burn.
gonna say I peek my head in 1st,
Mhm.
Roll a
to
perception
survey
check
the
to
room.
see how surprised you may or may not be. And then you
Okay,
roll
I
a
got a
stealth.
plus
Then you roll a stealth
one.
check, Carrie, just to see. All right.
It's funny because I'm not technically trying to be stealthy, but you know,
What is your what's your plus to stealth?
it's +3.
Oh, okay. Yeah, you can roll on it.
This just is not. Yeah, I gotta
That's
do
weird.
it this way, and then I'm gonna get back in and out, see if that works.
Yeah. Sometimes if you click on the features and traits and then click back over
Yeah.
for some reason it fixes.
So just a 12.
yeah. So you see her there by the candlelight in your room.
Is there a desk in my room?
Yeah, there's a little like side table desk and a little candle and a little water basin to wash your face up so you don't have to go to the bathroom if you don't want to, like your normal stuff.
Naf kind of just goes, huh, and walks in, closes the door, and just very casually walks to the desk and puts all his books down, not really acknowledging, but
Mhm.
semi-acknowledging, all right.
It's no big deal. It's fine. Yeah. Naf, we need to talk.
Okay.
I hardly know where to start. First, I would like to hear from your view what happened yesterday. After I was dead. I want to know if we. I want to know what you did.
He kind of grits his teeth. And he'll take out his spell book and flip it to a specific page. that has the entire details and writings of a lovely spell called Summon Greater Demon. And he will just casually walk over to where you're sitting, and place his spell book in your lap, and point to the spell, and kind of just sit down and say, well, I brought you to my room, and I did my best. I wasn't expecting to get a god on the other end of this. I was expecting something much worse, but I was prepared to do what I had to do.
Is the spell handily labeled in common Summon Greater Demon?
In his book, it would definitely it'd probably look like the scrawlings of a madman. But each spell would definitely, even if it wasn't titled, just by reading the descriptions, you would be able to.
So they're annotated then. Okay.
Yeah,
Okay.
you may be able to make a connection.
Okay, so she spends a little bit just looking down at that and sort of taking it in. And she says, I told Ono earlier today that one of the things that has happened, one of the changes that has happened is that I am feeling very intensely. This is not familiar, this feeling intensely. So forgive me, I am trying to express this as well as I might. You were going, let me see if I understand. You were going to bind yourself to a greater demon to bring me back.
Yes.
I do not understand how I feel so grateful and so angry at the same time. Is that how it works? Is that how people feel? Because I want to hug you and I also want to take this book and hit you in the face with it.
At a horrible attempt to make light of the situation, Naf kind of slightly chuckles and says, I've felt worse. If you do want to hit me.
I don't, yes, I do. I do want to hit you, but I don't. I did not want to be dead. But if you ever think that I would want you to be bound to a demon or anything so unnatural, so evil, for me, please, never. And if I had had the choice, that thing, if that thing that I saw first had asked me, I would have said no if I thought that would save you from that. So don't waste what you have. I mean, obviously I cannot stop you from doing what you want, but please. I can only thank the knowing mistress that she decided, well, to intervene. That is what you saw as well, yes.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then I guess in Carrie's effort to be, funny, dark humor, she says, I think she decided to spare me the effort of coming back to haunt you. This is so complicated, Nath, and I sound awful to myself. It had already come into my heart to be concerned at what you are running from. So the idea that you were going to make it worse on my behalf is very troubling. But I am alive, I think. And that was my choice, so I must ask you to forgive me if I seem upset at this. And she just sort of gestures at herself. I am getting used to it. I am not angry at you for this, and I am grateful. I cannot believe that anyone would make that choice, let alone one so dire. Does that make any sense at all?
Yeah, it does.
I understand, I think, taking big risks, doing much for someone. But please, no more evil. Please.
He's just gonna hug you. That's his answer.
And then she says, now something perhaps more practical, less fraught. I heard you say that you were willing to bargain away secrets. Yes?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I did say that.
I will not press you for the nature of the secrets. I do not wish to know them, but I think I deserve to know if we continue to travel together, and I hope that we do. I hope very much that we do. Just how hard should we Should we be looking behind our backs, Math? Because if you felt you had secrets worthy of bringing someone back from the dead, how much danger are we all in?
At this point, he kind of gets up and begins like walking the room, and says, I don't know if I can truthfully answer that question. I've been running since I was a kid. I've had my head on a swivel since I was a kid. Oh, you'd be in as much danger as you were when we first started traveling together.
That is fair. Do you think that entity you spoke to, would there be knowledge shared? Would there be communication? Of your location, of your offer?
Just to be clear, you're talking about Ayun in this moment, right? Out of game.
No, she would be wondering if the hag would go, yeah.
I don't think the connection ever made it that far. It was intercepted, as we were told.
Mary just nods slowly. And she gets up and she comes over and like takes Naf's arm. You know, the damaged one. She says, she touches his wrist and then touches his brow like above his eye, and she says, you know, I feel that you are twice God touched now. I don't know what that means, but that indicates a struggle to me. And we will do our best, yes?
Certainly try.
We both must find balance. And as you say, we try. We may never find it, but we try. And I will think on this larger problem, this always being on the run. You know, we talked before about what atonement will ever be enough. I think I am going to add to the list, when can the running stop?
One day, I would hope.
So do I. Thank you for bringing me back, Matthew. I did not feel ready to go. And then she's just going to quietly leave the room unless staff has anything else to say.
No, I think he just lets you leave.
As she leaves and the door closes, you see a pair of gray socks also sitting on the table beside where all your stuff was that you now wonder why they're there, but there's a pair of gray fuzzy socks sitting on the table for you.
Naf is after Carrie leaves, he's gonna go to his door and listen to the sound of her entering her own. He's waiting for that.
Do you go to your room, Carrie?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
You hear the door open and then it close and as it shuts. So
Naf will very carefully open his own door.
okay.
Very carefully close it.
Mm-hmm.
And he's gonna go for a walk outside.
Okay. Go ahead and roll a stealth check for me at advantage since you're moving super slow and try not to hit them squeaky boards. Why'd you roll survival?
Oh, whoops. Good point.
I mean, I'll take the 7 if you want, or take the 9. Carrie, you hear some squeaking on the outside, but not enough that it raises an attention like it's someone leaving or someone going. It just sounds like the building settling as older buildings do. And you make your way down the stairs, Naf, and you are able to slip out, more like out a back door, more like a service entrance, more so than the front, because the front is very much locked and secured. But yeah, you make your way out into the city, and it's fairly quiet. Every now and again, you'll hear a couple guards from the hands of Ord, just kind of patrolling the streets on the night shift to make sure that nothing really goes awry. Make sure there's no crimes that happening. What is your plan?
He is going to find a bench and begin writing something.
Okay.
That's what he's gonna do. He's gonna begin writing something.
All right. You can take some time to write whatever it is that you are going to write. There's easily a bench that you can find in the streets of the Suncut Bazaar. So.
Every now and then, he kind of looks around just to observe the area.
You see people kind of open their windows to kind of let some of the night air in. Other people close them. Some people, every now and again, not very often, but you've seen some people come home late, like they're late night workers, or maybe they were out drinking, out partying, doing something, and they kind of stumble back. But it's just your typical comings and goings of people late into the hours of the night, kind of trying to get home, or like you have a couple people who seem to have to travel a few hours to get to work in the morning, so they leave very, very early. But no one's really taking a bother to anybody else. They just kind of go on their way and do their business. But no one really bothers you. You see people, they see you, but they kind of leave you to your business. So
he definitely spends some time throughout the night just writing. So he's gonna eventually sleep. He probably comes back maybe 4 in the morning. So he's gonna have a he's gonna be waking up late.
all right. Anything you want to do with your writings, or you're just writing?
Not currently, as I'm currently writing it in Google Docs.
Okay, fair
I'm
enough.
actually writing something.
Fair enough. If you want to have done something with those, we can always add that in later. Eventually, you make your way back into the casino, and you make your way back up to your room. You find your way in there nice and quiet. Gray socks and stuff still on your desk. And as you fall asleep, you find yourself in a familiar environment. You find yourself in this same like library space as before. And you see just like an after image of Ayun, not so much her herself, but you do get the feeling, and you hear the words again echo in your head as you kind of see this just still shimmering image of the goddess Ayun with her purple eye and her tan skin and white hair, and all these rooms, which as the doors kind of open, you get a glimpse. Some of them look like libraries, some of them look like other things. There are people in all of these rooms, and just as you get a view of them, the doors close again. But the deal that you made echoes in your head once again. The return carry for swearing allegiance to Ayun and spreading the word of her good works, and then prohibiting blood magic to cause your own death. And these words kind of ring over and over and over again in your head, and the feeling of being followed for the first time in a long time kind of dampers and drifts away. And you feel like you're not alone, but you're not being followed. Like you are comforted in this big library of knowledge. What do you wish to do in this moment, if anything?
I think he kind of just lets his shoulders drop and finally feels relaxed a little bit. And just kind of stands there for some time.
As you kind of take in your surroundings, a book falls off of a shelf near you, and as it falls, it opens. It opens to a page, one that you read earlier today in the Temple of the Mentor. Falls to those practitioners of magic, of foresight and fate changing that you were so engulfed in. And you just kind of feel inspired by them to look at your past and look at your future and see if you can't do something to force it to change. As your past kind of led you to believe that your future was unchangeable, it was kind of stuck in whatever they had decided that you were going to become and what you were going to do, and it's like you were running from it, but now you feel like you might have the ability to change that.
Good feeling.
And the image of Ayun kind of becomes a little clearer, more so than the after image before, and she kind of stays where she is, and her face isn't quite as detailed as before, but you hear a new thought in your head, and it says, whenever you're ready to dedicate yourself to me fully, I will bless you with a new gift. When you are ready, you tell me, but that decision is yours to make. And she just kind of floats back here like she is a giant librarian looking through all of her books. Is there anything you wish to do while you are still here?
He would respond? Question mark.
Sure.
With I've forsaken the gods my entire life. You've changed my outlook on things, and you've brought back someone I care for deeply. I think it's time for a change. I think I'm ready.
Very well. They put back their their large book, and as she kind of floats over, you catch a glimpse, and it is not a book you would expect a goddess of knowledge to read. I will let you use your imagination on what you believe it to be. And she floats over, hair kind of floating all around, and she just reaches out her finger and just taps you on the forehead between your brow. And you feel, for a second, it almost feels like your blood is on fire. Like the entirety of your insides sets ablaze all at once. And as she touches you, she kind of, just like Aang from the end of Avatar, she kind of pulls this stream of red energy out of your forehead. And then whoosh, the fire that was your blood set ablaze with all of your capillaries and all of your nerve endings feeling like you were going through all 9 levels of hell, they return calm. And you see her wave her hand, and that stream of red kind of disappears and combines and congeals into one small purple orb. And then she reaches her hand back down to your forehead and touches you between the brow again and says, "In time, your own third eye will open. But for now, know you have the ability to change your fate." And then you are woken in your room later in the morning, probably 10:30 at this point. And you feel that the power of your blood magic is no longer there. You no longer have the ability to channel your own blood as components from magic, the ability to use it to cast spells. However, I would like you to go ahead and roll your portent dice for the day, please.
Oh my god!
You have a 14 and you have what you have. So, there you go. All of the good dices. So write those down. And you wake up, and the other 3 of you have been awake for about an hour or so at this point. You're kind of having breakfast and eating, and Naf is yet to join. But
I made pancakes.
you made pancakes. Go ahead and roll me a d20, and we'll see where you for your cooking buff for the day. You'll
Ooh.
have to remind me what it says in there because it's been a minute.
It's been a hot minute.
Let's see.
Okay, so if I roll between 0 and 5, I get proficiency bonus worth of temporary hit points. So
Yep.
we all get
3.
3?
Yeah. You'll all get 3 temporary hit points for the day.
Hey, thank you.
Whenever you all eat breakfast. It's been a rough couple of days, so you know your cooking's not the best as it's been, but it's getting there. But you do all join there for breakfast, and eventually, Naf, you can join them. They're eating a later breakfast. Kind of everyone's waiting for you to get down there, but as Naf kind of arrives, they look like there's something a little bit different about them, but you can't quite put your finger on it. Maybe he slept well, maybe he just feels relieved.
Well,
You know.
it's the sleep.
I changed my other thing too, right?
Yeah.
I'm changing 2 things. Okay.
Yep. All of your blood magic powers are gone.
Yep.
So
Sure.
there you go. But yeah, now if you make your way down there in the morning to the rest of the group, and as you guys are eating breakfast, a familiar face walks into the casino and asks about all of your location, and eventually comes to the table where you guys are, and you find yourself in the presence of the bright-eyed tiefling Prolix. Carrie, at this point, you are down to 1 level of exhaustion. I believe. Yeah, you're down to just 1.
Mhm.
So 1 has been resolved for you. this bright-eyed tiefling Prolix, who you met back in Bazzoxan, who has introduced you, has talked about his work with the Allegiance before, and has told you to go meet them originally, which you did. Kind of walks in, and he looks, nods to Ono, to Peltonaf, and then looks over, and kind of takes a double take at you for a minute. Karen goes, "There's something different about you. I can't quite put my finger on it, but
You got a haircut.
it looks good. Looks good. I like your cape of many colors.
How I love my coat of many colors.
Yeah, I didn't know you were a bard. Good job. Um, anyway, anyway, as you, um, oh, I've come with some news, um, for you, from the Allegiance of Allsight. Um, they one, congratulations on completing the job and getting another job from them. I heard there may have been some struggles, but they gave you the options for reward, and well, I'm glad that we were able to take care of you, and I'm sorry for any troubles that you may have had. But as you may or may not be aware, the Allegiance of Allsight is conducting a massive excavation project in the Sigil District. It's in an effort to explore the ruins of Kael Moreau, a much older city below Ank'Harel. You guys all have general knowledge that Ank'Harel is built on top of another city, and you had heard in passing that there was an excavation project. You didn't know who was doing it or anything like that, but you knew that there's always some type of archaeological projects going on.
There's always construction happening. You know?
Absolutely.
Always.
Big
always.
cities, there's always construction. But we, the Allegiance, have heard rumors that there's maybe another entrance into Kael Moreau that runs through the city's oasis. We, the Allegiance, I have been sent on behalf of them to request, officially, to request that you go and investigate these claims. I am authorized to pay your group 300 gold pieces for your time and for your trouble. It's merely an investigation. There is a gnome supervisor at the Life Dome. Gnome at the Dome. His name is Carliel Krugen. And if you are happy and willing to take this job, I can get a message sent to them to expect you early this afternoon. So what do you say? 300 gold pieces to go investigate a potential second entrance into Kael Moreau? Does that sound like something good for you?
I think as soon as Carrie caught sight of Prolix, she would have just like put her hands down flat on the table because she's just started just trembling. And as soon as he offers a job, she just stands up abruptly and walks away. Heads up the stairs towards their rooms.
Did I say something offensive? I apologize if I did. I was not trying to be rude. I was merely just, providing.
You know, she's been going through a lot. Can we get back to you on that job?
Yes, but this one is quite time sensitive. They wanted to offer it to you first as a sign of goodwill, and they may be willing to increase the rate if that's the case, but they are very interested in continuing your services, so they just wanted me to come see you first thing this morning. So I made it a priority to come here first thing. So
Naf would probably look at Pell and Ono and just kind of say, I'll go talk with her. And we'll get up and follow after Carrie.
Okay. Does it sound like something you are interested in doing, though? It should be a quick in and out, nothing. Mainly, it's just we need to confirm if there is in fact a second entrance, and then we will be the ones to figure out what to do after that. It's not something you have to go in and investigate at this time. It's more of, is there one? And if there is, please let us know so we can take care of that.
Would you have said that the last job was sort of an in and out sort of thing?
I don't really know what the last job was per se. All I had heard was that there was a potential magical item that needed retrieval. I don't really have the details of that request. I was not privy to those, as it was they had spoken to you directly. I had just told them that you were a capable group of adventurers that had quite a good
Carrie
reputation.
died the last time. That's why I'm
Uh
asking.
oh. Oh. That okay. That is very serious. Well. They did not tell me that. That
We didn't.
changes.
Well, actually, Ono doesn't know that we didn't tell them that. But
Yes. Well, I'm very sorry to hear that. I'm very glad to see that she has returned. So, um, dying is quite well, it's quite life-changing. Um, I can say from experience. Um, but
from experience,
oh yes, yes,
you died.
yes, yes, I have.
Oh.
Yes.
Well,
It's not something you immediately get over, so I understand and I can relate. Um, I did not always look like this. However, I had a very powerful friend who reincarnated me from something different. So, it happens sometimes. It's not pleasant. So I feel for your friend. But as crass as it may sound, the best way to move forward is just to get something to take your mind off of it, to distract you for a while. And just
I thought you were
keep
gonna
it.
say laugh moves on.
Oh, no, I was told that when I was brought back, and that made me very upset, so I have decided to not give that advice to others. So, I may have hit my friend with a fireball immediately upon waking up, so.
Damn.
Ono immediately has
Nice.
more respect than she had for this guy.
Right?
They're fine now, but we're not really friends anymore. They didn't like being set on fire. But hey, I didn't request to be brought back as a tiefling, so here we are. Anyway, um, I liked my old Goliath body. I was much bigger. Anyway, but yes, I will stop back in about an hour or so. As like I said, this is quite time sensitive. So I'll give you some time to discuss and figure out if you wish to do this. If not, then I don't know if the Allegiance will be as open to continuing business, as they do have a very specific set of requests for each potential new member and new group, and they tailor them more so to their strengths. Um, so I will leave that with you to decide, but again, I will come back in about an hour, and then I will, if you decide that's what you wish to do, great. I will lead you to the Life Dome in the care of Carliel Krugen. Otherwise, if you decide that you don't wish to pursue this task, I will speak with the Allegiance, and that may be the end of their interest in working with you, but that is their decision, not mine. So I just want you to be aware of the situation. So, but with that, I will leave you for the time being, and I'll see you soon. He kind of nods and heads out. But yes. So Pell and Ono, you were downstairs and you got the end of his conversation. Naf and Carrie, you guys had already gone upstairs. So we let's start with Pell and Ono. What's your feeling? Anything you guys wish to discuss or do post Mr. Prolix heading out?
I mean, I think after he leaves, Ono will be like, I think this decision's not really up to us personally. I think, based on Carrie's reaction, I'm guessing she's not particularly interested in working with them, but maybe she just wasn't ready to talk to them specifically. I don't know. We'll see what Naf says, but I don't need to take this job if she don't wanna.
I mean, that's true. But I mean, what he said could also have a point. Maybe just like throw yourself into it and maybe move on naturally during it, you know?
I mean, sure, but if you ain't ready to move on, then getting
Yeah.
thrown into stuff ain't gonna help it. So,
I mean, I think for sure, like it should be up to her at the end of the day, but I don't think she should completely discount it just because, not just because. She should
yeah.
just completely discount it, you know?
Well, yeah, maybe she just needs a minute. Maybe she's still just tired, you know?
Maybe. Who knows? We'll see what she says. I mean, she
You know,
heard the job
some people
offer,
get real
right?
cranky when they're woken up from a nap, and if you get woken up from eternal rest, then, you know, I could
True.
see being.
That could be like eternal crankiness.
I hope that's not the case, but
I hope so too, but who knows, man?
All right. Well, we will cut up to Naf and Carrie. Carrie having just stood up and gone upstairs, and Naf following shortly behind. And we'll say you guys have arrived up there.
I think.
I'm sorry. I'm still laughing about getting woken up from eternal rest.
And was it supposed to be your dumb stat or your dump stat? Because being a dumb stat is really funny if wisdom is not a tragic
Is-
dump stat. Yeah.
Either
sorry,
way
I
it
meant
works.
dump. I meant
I know, but that's just perfect.
Either
Yeah.
way it works.
I think the first thing, Naf would have definitely kept his distance, but I think the first place he would check would be like he'd very carefully open his own door to see if Carrie's in there,
Nope.
and then go to her room upon realizing she's not in there, and kind of just little knock knock knock.
And you hear something that sounds like a book get thrown at the door. Go away.
Okay, I'll go away if you want, but I'm leaving this with you. And you just see a little piece of paper slide under the door.
Do you hate me? Check yes or no.
Right?
And then probably footsteps walking away.
And then you head back downstairs.
Yeah, probably.
All right. By about the end of your guys' conversation, Pell and Ono, you see Naf just coming back downstairs. Without Carrie, it's just him coming back down.
given how quickly he came back down, Ono kind of has like a when like your sibling goes to like ask for something from your parents and it wasn't successful and you're like, all right, it's time for somebody else to go to try.
Yeah. All right, go ask Dad now. Mom said no, go ask Dad.
Yeah.
Send the favorite child.
Can Jeremy and Ivan be our fathers?
Yes, please.
I mean, they can be your hunkles. Your hunky
Aw.
uncles.
Uncles.
I mean, I'm already like godparent to their children, so.
It's true. It's true. All right. Do you leave that paper there, Carrie, or are you gonna read it, or what's your plan in your room?
I will get it. Yes.
Okay.
I will say, it is like it's in a envelope, and on the front of it, scribbled says "Open when needed."
Mm-hmm.
It was just like standing there staring at it. She just says out loud, when needed for what? And she almost kicks the book that she threw at the door, but she doesn't.
The book's getting beat up.
was already well worn. Um, she's gonna open it.
All right. You open this letter.
Yeah, I can't not.
I don't know what it says, so this is on you.
No,
Oh,
yeah,
Gary,
hold on.
Gary can't not either.
Hold on.
This game is out of my hands and off the rails,
Yep.
guys. I don't know what's happening.
This is out of your hands. I will be sending you, not you, Alex,
No, it's fine.
but I will be sending Pepper a Google document.
Well, you should send it to me too, so I have an idea of what's in there. I won't share it, because, you know.
All right,
it's-
here you
it's-
go.
Send it to me too, man. Why not?
Yeah,
I
let
mean,
me
you
just
know,
send it
you might
to
as well
you,
give it
you
to-
know what? No, I'm gonna send it to the DM and the person who's reading it. Listen, I want to let it be known. I messaged Pepper and I was like, "This is a very Scanlan moment," and you immediately did the Pike thing of ripping it open and immediately
did.
reading it.
You are absolutely 100% right.
There you go.
All
But-
right, there you go.
In more
There you go.
specific directions is all I'm saying.
Cool.
There you go. You can click on that to read that.
Cool. But
And this is what he was writing at like 3 in the morning.
Yeah, I'm reading.
all right, I'll let you read it while she's up there reading a letter. What are the three of you talking? You can
Well,
always recap the rest of that conversation if you want.
Yeah, Naf would
Naf
just
was
come.
Successful, then Ono would like to go talk to Carrie. and find out-
Naf would come. Yeah, Naf would come down, and if you bring that up, he would say, "I think it's best we all just leave her alone for some time. Let's just have our breakfast."
Do you think we should take this job, Nav?
Could be a good way to get our minds off things.
I mean, like, could also be like maybe staying in this environment's not so great. Like, this is where it happened. Maybe just getting a different setting could help.
Yeah.
I don't know how was she when you went to go talk to her?
I'm pretty sure she if there wasn't a door in my way, I would have been hit by a book.
I see. That's okay. Well, you think we should just give her some time?
I think we give her some time and
Okay.
enjoy Ono's breakfast.
Yeah. If she doesn't tell us anything when the guy comes back, we're just gonna say we're not going, right? I assume.
I agree with that.
Okay.
Like, I agree with that, but I feel like we should confirm that that's what she would want out of us. I don't want to go assuming things. We all know what happens when you assume, right?
Assuming can be bad, but
You make
Yeah.
an ass out of you and me.
when he gets back, we can go up and see how she's feeling, ask her.
All of you, the three of you down there, roll me animal handling checks, please.
Animal handling.
Now, where the hell did this come from?
Bob.
What's Bob doing?
Bob the lizard climbs out of your cloak, Naf, and tries to steal breakfast from all of your plates.
What
You know what? I let
what
it happen.
the?
Yeah, I willingly let that happen.
I'm not letting that happen. What the hell? No.
All right, so Bob's gonna go ahead and try and roll just a straight dex check against your
Alright, hold on.
your 9. It's a +0, so.
Yeah,
I'm hungry, bro.
I'm gonna roll it.
Ooh, you are able to snatch your food away from
Alright,
Bob.
save
Okay.
Save
Yeah.
it.
He looks up and he hisses at you real quick and then goes to eat the
Get
rest of the food.
out of here, Bob.
Fun
Let me
fact,
eat in
because
peace.
because Bob also benefits from those temporary hit points.
You know
Bob
what? hold on, because we need some laugh in this situation, and this will be the first time it happens. Naf kind of just sees this happening, and in the split second that Pell kind of goes to scooch him out of the way, like Doctor Strange, Naf's gonna close his eyes and see into 15 million different realities, and is going to give Bob a 14.
What?
Ooh,
What?
Bob got a 14 from his port
You
dice roll.
traitor!
Uh,
Oh my god.
and Bob, you think you have it snatched out the way, and at that exact moment, it's just like your hand phases through Bob, and Bob gets your breakfast. Not all of it, just like a mouthful.
I have seen 14,567,000 realities, and I choose the reality that Bob gets his pancake.
So Bob
damn.
now has 3 temporary hit points on top of his 2 real life hit points.
Yeah.
So
Bob!
Bob is feeling 150% stronger.
Bob's feeling good.
But yeah, so you now have your one other port and dice left until you long rest. So keep
Worth
that.
it!
It's totally worth it, dude. I love using port and dice for just dumb stuff. It's so fun. But yeah, so Bob got his pancake, and he took a little bit more from you, Naf, because you were trying to fight him on it.
You mean Pell?
Pell, yes. But yeah, so you guys screw around with Bob a little bit. Bob provides some laughs. Carrie, I assume you have had time to read your letter. All right. What do you wish to do? As you hear nobody else outside your door at this moment. You missed the Bob stealing pancake time.
I know. That was awesome. That was the best. Honestly, oh my god. I said Carrie had a little nervous breakdown when she was like in the bathing house or the bathing room or whatever. I think she is like doing much the same thing right now. She's like on the corner of her bed with her fuzzy socks on, just clutching this thing she got from Naf, and she's just sobbing. And then she looks down and she realizes that it's kind of like diluted swamp water. It's not like clear tears. It's just this kind of murky, not like black goo, but just kind of really murky, And so she just like does that really intensely for a couple minutes, like a lot of times when you're just overwhelmed, there's just this complete and then
All the tired. I didn't mean to do
Yeah,
that.
exactly.
I was clicking on something else, and that happened.
But it makes sense that you click that now. And then she kind of just tries to pull herself together, and she kind of wipes off her face and puts the letter in like one of her little side pouches, and she's just like sitting there thinking for a little bit, and then she's gonna come on back downstairs.
You see Bob on the table, just eating some pancake. This old ass lizard just eating some pancake. Pell looks not happy, but
I forgot to include this because I just remembered I forgot to write it down. But in the letter, it would have been the letter, obviously. In the letter, there was no letter. But in it would have been, and I guess Pell and Ono would notice that Naf is just actively out here eating food with both of his, with one of his eyes showing, but the empty socket of an eye isn't covered anymore. That's because the wrapping around his head was also in the envelope.
Oh, fuck you, Pie.
There you go. A head wrapping around. And that's a big.
Oh.
That's a thick envelope right there. That's a Manila
Mhm.
envelope.
Yeah, it is. Yep.
But yeah, you make your way downstairs in whatever state you want to be in, and
God damn it.
you see Bob Bob the lizard eating some pancake amongst the table as everyone seems to be just waiting for you.
She's coming down and she's like trying to be very chill, and then she sees this lizard on the table eating pancake, and she just stops and sort of cocks her head and goes and says to Bob, "Is that's what you wanted?"
Bob, with pancake dangling from his mouth, very creakily, just like clambers over to you and drops it at your feet, and then he's gonna run up and try and steal another pancake from Pell.
Mm,
Pell, give me another
I'm ready.
Am
we'll
I
say
rolling?
since you're ready for it this time, yeah, you can roll it. We'll say it'll just basically be like a grapple check, so your athletics versus
Yeah.
Bob's athletics or acrobatics.
Yeah.
Why don't you roll a 1?
Take this, Bob.
8. She was almost 1.
Alright.
Bob can
So
do
I'm
it.
gonna roll
Exertion. Yeah.
I am
dexterity.
going to see, just before you roll, I
Oh,
see that,
sorry.
I was talking.
Oh my.
It doesn't matter, but I was going to say I see that Bob is, very creakily going for another pancake, and I cast guidance on Bob.
Hey.
Yeah, okay, can we go back in time a little bit?
Sure. Give him the D4 too, just because
Yeah.
it's funny. There you go. Bob rolled almost twice as fast. This time, Bob's there and gone, and you lose yet another pancake from your plate, Pell.
God damn it.
Only because I feel it's appropriate, Mr. DM, if you do the voice, I know you did a voice for Bob, but I would kindly request that he has a very thick Brooklyn accent going forward, because I feel like that fits him. He's an old, disgruntled lizard. I feel like he'd be from Brooklyn.
I mean, that's the voice I have in my head. I just haven't figured out how to do it yet. So that's all. I'm not Chris Pratt Mario in this, Anyway, but yeah, so you see old Bob steal some more pancake from Pell.
Where was
He's
this
like
speed?
dropped one on the floor in front of me.
Yep, as an offering to hey, join breakfast.
Where was the
Okay.
speed and Bob when we were betting on him, bro?
Oh,
Honestly.
Bob's smart. Bob knows how to play the game of
He knows.
throwing.
The long con. Bob is here for the long con.
Bob knows.
I'm gonna sit down. I'm gonna pick up the pancake and sit down and start eating it.
Oh, you're eating floor pancake.
Bob brought it to me.
Half-eaten Bob floor pancake.
And I have questions about the eating thing, Alex, but like I said, we can talk about mechanics
You
later.
can, you just don't require it.
Okay. So, is there some gross process that happens if I
No.
do?
Nope.
Okay.
You can decide if it tastes different or if it's supposed to taste like what it tastes like for you, but you just don't have to. You don't need it to survive, but you can.
On the fly, I'm gonna say it makes sense that it's kind of like eating when you have like a super bad cold or sinus infection or something.
Yeah.
It's like you can kind of taste.
And that can always change as your character grows and evolves and becomes more accustomed to their.
But like right now, it's just kind of like I don't. Really
A
taste
couple
this.
minutes after Bob takes Pell's last pancake, I'm gonna go and like come up with another plate full of pancakes and just start to eat it.
What?
Just in front of Pell.
I really thought that was gonna be for me, man.
When she sees you look sad, like it's like one of those like cartoonish stack of pancakes, and she'll give you one of them.
One.
Yes,
Just one.
One is enough.
But yeah, as you guys are kind of sitting here, Pell and Ono, you know that he said he'd be back in about an hour, and it's been about 20-25 minutes at this point. So.
Sorry, go ahead.
No, I was just gonna say, Ono, after eating her obscene seconds, would probably be like, so what do you want us to say to him, basically?
I am sorry. I'm sorry that I left. When I saw him come in, I was angry and afraid, and I did not know what to do. So I am sorry that I left.
Well, you're here now, and that's what matters.
And she's like not looking at Nath, listening, but like not looking. She puts her hands on the table again, but she's not like pressing down on the table. She's just like, I don't want to work for them or with them. I think that they are very interested in acquisition and not things that are more important. Maybe I am wrong, but is what I think. I would like us to at least consider completing our task from the Cobalt Soul at the Temple of the All-Knowing Mistress. And when she says that, she looks up at Math like, then perhaps we can decide. But I think we have options to think about and not just. And perhaps we do not have to work for anyone else other than ourselves. But I would like to complete our task for the Cobalt Soul. Perhaps better than this one was completed.
I mean, yeah, okay, I'm down for it.
I think right now, we're willing to do pretty much whatever. So, you know, if you don't want to do this, we don't have to. So, might as well do that. I know that was very eloquent, but you know.
I think you lead the way, Carrie, and we'll follow.
I don't wish to. I don't wish for you to treat me, for any of you to treat me like I am owed something. I appreciate that you are being concerned for my feelings, but let me just say, this does not give me an extra vote. It does not make me in charge. I appreciate that you understand that I do not want to deal with those people, but I should also say that I don't know what they, according to them, it's just what would you say, a scouting, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
I don't have to go.
But we don't want to go without you. I mean, I don't want to speak for the group, but I think that's where we're all at, aren't we?
Yeah, I think we can all say that.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What about this? We go talk to the Cobalt Soul. We see how that goes. That gives me a chance to calm. And then we talk about it again. We see.
I mean, I think this was sort of this specific job was we had to commit to it pretty soon. But I don't think that necessarily means we never can work with them again. I think it was just like hey, if you want to do this now, go ahead. But if not, then
Yeah.
Right.
If we don't want to take this job, we can just go to the Cobalt Souls. That's fine.
You also know that there are more factions than just these two. These are just the two most prolific major factions. You also know there are quote-unquote evil factions, or a more nefarious faction. And the lady that you chased through the streets as a horse, you know that she was also part of a faction that she wanted to try and enlist you for.
Right.
So you know of a couple.
Yeah.
But all right. So after what's probably like 20 to 30 minutes of you being down here and you guys all discussing, Prolix comes back to find you all, and he comes back in and kind of nods in agreement and like kind of welcoming, looks over your characters to you, Carrie. Says, I am very sorry if I offended you earlier. That was not my intention, so I apologize if I upset you in any way. But not to dwell on the past, but moving forward, like I said, they do need that answer. Well, now, if you intend to take this job in the Life Dome, if not you, then they might seek you back out later if they have not found an appropriate group to complete it. But I don't know what their decision will be, or if they'll reach out to you again. What has your consensus been as far as continuing the work with the Allegiance of All Sites to go and search the Life Dome for us? You won't hurt my feelings anyway. I'm just the messenger, so be as well as honest as you wish. It won't hurt my feelings or affect my standing. So
Would you guys have told Carrie what Prolix said about actually having died as well, or
I
go either
probably
way.
wouldn't have. Would not have.
sorry, what did you say? Oh no.
I feel like it could go either way. Like, definitely thinks that puts that higher in her esteem of him. But like, I don't know if she necessarily wants to like bring it up. Like, hey, trauma bond with this person.
Got it. Yeah. Okay.
Especially given that you always said you didn't want to work with them, I don't think she'd bring it up actually.
Okay. Yeah, that makes sense. So Carrie would say, I apologize for leaving the way I did. The job that we attempted to do for you did not go well. I do not know how much you know about it, but it was very difficult on me, and I would prefer not to do this work for you right now. My friends understand that I need some time. Given what happened, and working for your organization today is too difficult for me.
I understand completely. I will let the leaders know that at this time you are not interested in completing that request. Um, I'm sure, well, at least one will understand, I'm sure. Master Grizz will understand. Probably not so much Master Cryon. He'll probably just complain, because he's, that's what he does. But if they wish to work with you again, I'm sure they will send me, as we have a rapport. Um, and let it be known your decision to not continue this job. It does in no way affect my opinion of you all. You are individuals who can make whatever decisions you see best for you at the time. So, again, this doesn't affect me. It doesn't affect my views or feelings towards you one way or the other. And I hope it does not, me continuing my work with them does not reflect negatively of your opinions towards me. So, but I will leave you to your business then. If you wish to get a hold of me, there are many methods by which you can. You can go to the Crystal Chateau or send a letter or ask around. I'm not the hardest to find. So, good luck with the coming days and whatever you choose to pursue, and I hope to see you again soon.
Thank you.
And he kind of nods and takes his leave. And before he leaves, he looks around and he catches Bob in the corner of his eye, and he goes, "Wait, is that Racing Bob? I lost so much money on that lizard. You just can't be mad at him. Look at him, he's so old." Anyway, all right. Good afternoon. Good day. And he just walks out and leaves. So what is your guys' plan?
Oh, I want to learn some new spells, bro.
I mean, you can certainly try to learn one right now if you want.
No, it's not important to learn right now.
All right. Well,
I just realized there's such a... Sorry, go.
I was say, you can also spend a couple hours every day working on whatever the spell level is of a spell that you learn. So.
Because there's one spell that is so... It's such an easy... like... It's not a charm spell, but it's such an easy quote-unquote charm spell because there's no save to it. It just happens. And I want it.
There you go. Well, what's your plan for the rest of this day? Because it's morning time. So.
Is the Cobalt still have the same job? Do we know?
You would have to get a hold of them, or go and find out.
Gotcha.
And you know you can get a hold of them because you know Nav can send messages. Whether he's got them prepped today or not is a different story, but you've seen him do it. Or you can just walk there. Whatever you want.
Because I think the last that we knew, they said that they could.
They could delay it.
My notes.
That they
could delay it a little bit, right? Yeah.
And it's been, because you took the other job the same day as you put that Cobalt Soul 1 on hold, so it's been 2 days. So you feel like their delay. They didn't give you a specific time frame, but you feel like without checking in with them, they'll probably, the assumption would just be that you're not interested. So even if, I mean, I would recommend checking with them at least to see if it's still there, figuring out what your plan of them is to do that before they reassign that off to somebody else. Because they were basically
to trail someone that they think is a cultist.
Yep.
Zahir, right?
Yep. They wanted you to follow them because they feel like they are doing that they are spying and taking information somewhere else. But they can't prove it, and anybody at that time when you talked to them, the only people they had available were higher ranking members in the Cobalt Soul who this person knew to be. The issue with it is, since they're also a member of the Cobalt Soul, they know a lot of the current members, and you were an outside influence they were going to pull in that this person didn't know of. So basically, you're like
Right.
mercenaries for this position, and that's why they were okay at the time with delaying it. But
Right.
as you know, in mercenary work in a big city, there are lots of other people that they could also employ. But um, you come with someone speaking on your behalf and a strong reputation and capabilities that were able to be verified. So you have a
Mhm.
lot in your favor, which is why they
Right.
were also okay to delay it. So
Right. And is he the one who is a disgraced member of the Cerberus Assembly, or is that someone else?
that is what they believe he might be. Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah. All right. Got it. Did we have a name for him?
Lauren Ophidas.
Venus. Okay.
This guy.
Okay.
That's what they believe, but they haven't been able to prove it, which is why
Okay.
they want you guys to
Right.
follow him around.
Okay. And that's really it's more of a see where he's going and if he's meeting with anyone as opposed to actually talking to him.
You
Or
know,
did we even ask
so
that?
the orders were to follow him back to his home and without causing a scene, find out why he's here. If it's to cause trouble, apprehend him and turn him over to the hands of Ord, and then report back when you're done. So basically, they want you to follow and see what they're doing, and then if he's causing problems, get him arrested. So
Well, then we should talk to these guys, I think.
Yeah, I think maybe we should head to the temple. And plus, I mean, is that pretty much what temples to Ayun always are, libraries?
this one is particularly a library and a temple and the headquarters of Cobalt Soul. This is the guy that you met, this hot Jamil.
Yes. Indeed. Um,
Hot
would there be
Jamil.
such a thing as, like somewhere in the library that there would be like a shrine or something like that?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Okay.
it's part temple, part library,
Right.
and
Okay.
headquarters. It's kind of all encompassing. It's a multi-functional facility.
Well, Carrie would like to actually go there then, as opposed to sending a message.
Okay. You've been there. You've all been
Yeah.
there.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, you've all been there because you
Yeah.
all met them and then they split.
Mhm.
So if that is your plan and you all wish to do it, you can start heading there. You'll probably get there in the afternoon because it's a long walk. Um, unless you walk very quickly, but it is quite a long walk across the city. So, um, but is that your guys' plan to head back to the Cerberus Assembly in the Cobalt Soul? Not the Cerberus Assembly. Jesus, that is the wrong thing. The Cobalt Soul is where you're going. That is
I'm
it.
down.
All
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
Cool. All right. So you guys head to the Library of Ayun, aka the Cobalt Soul headquarters, aka the Temple of the Mentor. And we will pick up seeing if you want to do the first mission of their quest chain next time. So,
Yo.
Okay.
Woo!
all right. Okay, bye.
Bye.